immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Tim Donnelly here for Zero Res. Get 3 rooms Zero Resified. That's carpets clean as they could possibly be, starting at just $109, and get a free hallway done on top of that. Just call now at ZeroResRaleigh.com or 919-995-0000.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Well, you've got an oil change coming up. You can go farther and save on full synthetic with our oil change special. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of STP full synthetic oil with an STP extended life oil filter for just $29.99. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback!
Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Obviously, our heat is the big story again today. A high of around 100. It'll feel more like 110, and we do have a heat advisory that's in effect. 78 tonight, and more of the same tomorrow. We'll likely be under a heat advisory again with a high of 99 and a heat index up around 110. We do have some big changes that come by the end of the week with cooler temperatures and a good chance for rain.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 283 points to 40,284. Market update brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to The Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
Now here we go, the whistle, putting the puck in play. And here comes Kuznetsov with the touch and the slowdown over the blue line. Kuznetsov waiting. Varlamov comes out, waiting, dusting it off, waiting, shoots, and scores! And Evgeny Kuznetsov with the penalty shot puts Carolina 3-1.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan on a Monday. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. Talking about a show. The offseason for the Carolina Hurricanes. At this point, it's prestige television, right? It's, oh gosh, they've solved this, they've solved that. What possibly could happen next? Tune in next time to find out. And then sure enough, beginning of the next episode, it's like a Game of Thrones deal, right? Just sending away all your favorite characters. Last time on Carolina Hurricanes offseason, Brady Shea, gone. Brett Pesce, gone. Stefan Nason, gone. Teuvo Teravainen, gone.
New season, new cast of characters.
Well, not quite yet because we're still moving on from a cast of characters last year, at least maybe. Earlier today, we learned Evgeny Kuznetsov, who was one of the splash cameos from last season, came on about midway through the season and had some of the best scenes, could be headed to Russia. That's the type of writing that happens in television when, like, an actor gets a new job on a big movie and they just – it's always like, so-and-so joined the Peace Corps. They're gone.
Like, how do we write them off?
Quickly, Russia came in. St. Petersburg wants Evgeny Kuznetsov. He gone. In full disclosure, I guess it might be a little too early to say he gone. One of his agents stated that it's too early to talk about the hockey player's return to Russia, even though many other reports said he's looking to terminate his contract with the Canes to go sign a 4-year deal with St. Petersburg. It is a interesting situation for the Canes from a bunch of different angles. First of all, if he does move on, which it looks like, I mean, I'm guessing he will, but obviously, pen to paper hasn't been signed. That's money to spend. That's $3.9 million against the cap that they get back. That's nice. There are ways the Canes could use that money, and plenty of them. Some very, very important ways. But also, he leaves a hole to fill on that roster, which is not nice. Right? We've talked about they need to get the Seth Jarvis deal done. Maybe $3.9 million next year or this year allows them to knowing, especially with how much comes off the cap next year, allows them to sign that long-term deal rather than a bridge deal. That'd be awesome. They still have to work with Jack Drury, who's in arbitration. Maybe it allows that to go a little bit more smoothly. That would be awesome. Martin Necas. There's 7,500 different ways that situation could end up. Maybe $3.9 million helps them there.
Can afford to get all those things done.
You can afford to get all those things done and make that work for like 13, 14 million, which is, I believe, what the window looks like now. Maybe close to 15 if you finagle it right. But guess what that doesn't do? Getting those three things done is awesome, by the way. I think they're all important. Second line center. You know what this is, right? This is Jesperi Kotkaniemi walking into the facility like a conquering hero. Like, I see you need me now. All of that talk about buying me out. All of that talk about, oh, this, oh, that. Looks like I am the second team center of your dreams. Remember that healthy scratch in the postseason? I am now the one responsible for getting Roslovic on one side and Necas on the other side and scoring a bunch of goals. Aho, Kotkaniemi, Stahl, Drury, assuming you get the Drury stuff taken care of. That is your lineup of centers. There it is.
The same you started with last year.
That was the expectation last year.
Same
shifted around a little bit. As we mentioned, Kuzi obviously was brought in, but it's Aho, Kotkaniemi, Stahl, and Drury. I think there is an obvious I wouldn't say a weak link, an obvious underwhelming link there. Love Aho. You know how I feel about that. Most underrated superstar in the game. Love Stahl for what he is asked to do. That line is in a category of its own.
Yeah.
Love Drury as a fourth-line center.
Perfect for that.
I think he is a great fourth-line center. And there's Kotkaniemi in the second. And there's not many other options you can do, right? Because the one option is you take that $3.9 million that Evgeny Kuznetsov moving on would open up, and you do exactly what we just talked about, right? You get Jarvis, you get Drury, and you get Martin Necas taken care of as much as you can, put a nice bow on it, head into the season. The other argument would be try to find a center with $3.9 million. That's tough. This is late in the game, right? If Evgeny Kuznetsov made this clear right after the season, I think maybe this entire offseason goes different, knowing they have an extra roughly $4 million. At this point, unless you're making a trade where you need to accept some cap, and there's not really many options to fill that hole. What it does do is it just continues to show how the depth of this Canes roster, I believe, simply won't be the same as it's been the last few years. And it can't be, right? They've played, we've talked about the championship glow that happens with some teams, right? You win a championship, you make it to a championship, then suddenly everyone on your team is seen as worth more on the open market. That kind of happened to the Canes without actually getting to the championship. Everybody on their roster was seen as more valuable than they were when they signed their previous deal. The Shays, the Pesci's, even Martinuk, right? All of these guys were signed for more money than they signed on their previous deal. Canes can't account for that, for lack of a better term, inflation, and remain as deep. Kuznetsov moving on, you would like to think, all right, you got some money to find a replacement for him. When in actuality, no. You have some money to fit in the inflation of other guys, right? There's some money there to fit in the larger contracts of players that have been playing for less on your roster. I think in some ways this move is a better for all parties, right? You look at this and you go, you know what, Kuzi, probably not the player he was during his peak with the Capitals. Probably putting that nicely to Kuzi.
That's a reality, though.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying probably not the best player. Canes could use that money better elsewhere, so it's just kind of like a, hey, best for both parties. The hard part about that is it's only that way until a center gets hurt.
Yeah, well, there's major questions about that.
Because, it's like I said, the depth's not going to be the same. As soon as any of those four guys I mentioned, Aho, Kotkaniemi, Stahl, or Jury, get dinged up a little bit, there's going to be a lot of people going, you know what would be really nice right now? Evgeny Kuznetsov.
I mean, Jack Roslovic's your insurance policy right now.
And then you get to the, and this is the high school football thing, right? When your number one wide receiver is your backup quarterback, your quarterback gets hurt, suddenly you're worse at quarterback and you're worse at number one wide receiver.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that.
It's if Roslovic has to come over and play center, now suddenly you're worse in the second line wing, and I don't even know who you're bringing up there.
I mean, to me, this all but guarantees we're going to see a rookie this season because penciled in was Kuznetsov at center, and then Kotkaniemi as a left wing. Well, Kotkaniemi slides in the middle. That there's a spot open on the wing somewhere. I mean, I doubt Tyson Jost is going to be like on your second line or anything like that. Like Felix Unger-Soren and Bradley Nadeau. Hello, kid.
Jackson
Spots
Blake,
open.
one of you.
Spots open.
And do you know what is also hanging over this?
What's up?
Jesper Fast is no update.
Yeah.
Because if Fast plays, they trust Fast, right?
100%.
Innings eater, right? they trust you to give him 6 every start. Like he's a minutes eater. If you take Fast away, those minutes got to go somewhere. And probably younger, right? You're maybe somebody like Carrier, but then someone's got to take his minutes. Like those young guys are not going to be, hey, let's walk in the stairs at the shallow end. They're going to be like, hey, we got a diving board at the deep end. Let's see how this goes.
Timing on this probably could not be winning worse. Like free agency's passed. The initial buyout window is already passed as well.
Most teams have already solved their problems and wrapped their head around, like, I think it's going to be good, right? So they're not looking to, there's no trade needs out there you can really take advantage of. It's a tough spot if this ends up breaking the way that it looks like it's going to break. Again, there's an agent, some kind of representative through translation said it's too early to talk about this being a definite, but it does appear as if it's moving in that direction. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Want to tell you about my partners over at Fox & Bailey Watch Shop, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location. They recently partnered with Blancpain. They are official retailer of Blancpain, which is the oldest surviving watchmaking brand. Founded in 1735. These watches have a history that goes back before, like, George Washington, right? Like, this is a serious deal here. Blancpain produces a limited number of watches each year, right? The exclusivity, the history, that's part of what makes this such a iconic brand, ensuring exclusivity and maintaining their high craftsmanship standards. You've heard me talk about their 50 Fathoms. It is one of the most iconic watches in the history of timepieces. It's what many consider the most iconic dive watch because it was one of the first, if not the first. 50 Fathoms was introduced in 1953, is one of the first modern dive watches and remains a benchmark for professional diving timepieces. So go ahead and check them out, right? You walk into Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location in Raleigh. You go right, that'll take you into the Fox & Bailey Watch Shop, find the Blancpain case, and you can get lost there for 20 minutes just staring and observing. Make sure you're there, when you're there, by the way, that you give us a shout-out. Say, hey, I heard about it from Tim on 99.9 The Fan. We'd greatly appreciate it. Today is a bit of a holiday for college football fans, particularly college football video gamers. Our 99 questions about the college football season does pertain to college football 25, dropping today, I believe, in about 47 minutes. Stick around.
Are you ready?
From 54, snap and hold are good. Kick is on the way, plenty of leg, and it is good!
Over the middle it goes, and he's got Puka Nacua to the 30, to the 20. No one's going to catch him.
Back to throw. Crosby off the edge, and he's got it back at the 23!
Tua back to throw.
deep, down the numbers on the left, and the Cheetahs got it. Touchdown!
The NFL kicks off August 1st on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
For eligible individuals, 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Select's premium package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home. All done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better. You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge. Oh, you people are wonderful. Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee. I hear better than I ever thought possible. Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to jabraenhance.com/try. That's JABRA enhance.com/try. jabraenhance.com/try.
The light is fading, your hands are sore, and the last tool's been put away. Now is the time to feel the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels a little different. Your wallet. Because we believe that everyone deserves hardworking tools at hardworking prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
College football season is right around the corner, and head coach Mac Brown and the Tar Heels want to see you in Kenan Stadium this fall. Don't miss out on exciting home matchups featuring in-state opponents, including NC State, Wake Forest, NC Central, and the home opener versus Charlotte on September 7th. All ticket options, including full season tickets, the customizable Tar Heel 2-pack, and individual game tickets are on sale now. For more information and to get your Carolina football tickets today, visit GoHeels.com.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money. Your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Today's a day some people have been looking forward to for a decade. College football, the video game, is back. So as we enter into our next question in our 99 questions about the college football season series, you know it has to do with College Football 25 dropping today. With the simple question, what are you going to do first? You get the game. I believe it's available to the public about 42 minutes from now, 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
You pop it in. If you got the disc, you download it, I guess. What are you doing first? What gameplay are you going to first? What's your plan? How are you spending your first hour on the game?
First hour? I know probably the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to play a game. And then I'm going to get into, like, all right, try and build that dynasty. Then I'm going to get, play the one game first, get a feel for the gameplay, just because it's been a while since we've had the games, but since the college football or NCAA 14, so it's been a minute since we've had the game. So it's like, all right, let's get a feel for the game. What are the controls like? What's the gameplay like? Get a feel for it, and then start to create that dynasty or try and build that dynasty.
Do you know what I've had to come to grips with?
What's that?
College football 25 is about people other than me.
Oh, yeah?
I'm happy for them.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of people are going to get what I was robbed of, which is not having the game for 10 years robbed me of my twilight in the game, right? I don't have a system that this works on. So I'd have to go buy a whole new system to play this game. I had to quit NCAA football, college football video games cold turkey back in 2014. I had no choice. The game didn't come out. I didn't have the ability to wean myself off of the addiction, right? Slowly, a little bit less free time, play the game a little less, play the game a little less. Still get excited for opening weekend, but then, I don't have that. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do first, the first time I get my hands on the game. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to play a non-computer friend, hopefully someone that is in a similar situation to me, because I'll tell you what's going to happen when I go online or when I set it to All-American like I normally do and just try to go play. I'm going to get my tail kicked. There's going to be some online kid who's 12 who's going to speed option me to death, and I'm going to know how to stop it, but I'm not going to have the quick fingers like I used to. The game has passed me by, but I'm still going to try to enjoy it. I'm still going to try to get my hands on it somehow, play with a friend somehow, head to someone's house somehow, because it was a big part of my childhood. Are they going to have the mini games? Do you remember the mini games?
Yeah.
Option attack and the kicking one. I loved those growing up, right? You don't have time to play a full game. You don't have time to build your full dynasty, do all that kind of stuff. Let me get 3 rounds of option attack in.
Yeah.
With a song that's playing over and over and over again that I'll memorize, and I'll hear it 15 years later and it'll come right back. Do you know what I always remember? The dynasty is what everyone wants to talk about, right? I'm not in games playing a lot, but obviously a lot of the people I interact with online do. Right, they're all right into you got to pick some power or group of 5 team. You got to turn them into a powerhouse. You got to do the full recruiting. Do you know what I always made the mistake of? Jumping straight into either creating your own player, what are they called? Road to the Heisman?
Road to Glory.
Road to Glory.
Yeah, they have that mode again this year.
Jumping right into that, and then you realize how much setup there is. It's you get the game, you're like, let me start my Road to Glory. Let me start my dynasty. Then it's an hour and a half later, you're still choosing, do I want my guy to have a visor? Do I should I be wearing the full Under Armour shirt, or should I just go 3/4 down to the elbows?
Too many wristbands.
And
Actually not enough wristbands.
And it's an hour and a half in, I still haven't played a game.
Yeah. That's what I said. Get on, play a game first.
Play a game.
Then do all the other stuff.
Because you're going to have to learn how to be good before you enter into that other stuff. Back in the day, I would have got online pretty quick. Tried to play against somebody, but do the computer thing, enjoy it. That's where I'm at, especially if you are a middle schooler. Before you recognize, responsibilities and stuff, just go stay up late one night, crush a dynasty, get into year 7 where you're playing. That's the other funny part, because do you know what's going to be the biggest difference is you're going to have names and players in it, right? We used to have to get down with quarterback number 7, right? Cornerback number 17 used to be a thing. Get to the point where that doesn't matter, right? Because that's what we used to do with Dynasty. Get to year 7. Then it didn't matter that you started with quarterback number 7 because you had all made-up guys anyway.
I know a lot of people that would do, for the Dynasty mode and those things, would just, you know what? I'm going to simulate the games for the first few years. That way I can just recruit and do all the recruiting and all those kinds of things. Just simulate. Then you say get into year 3, then I'll actually play the games and all that. But you're doing all the recruiting stuff. They actually have different ways because you can actually like build your coach, I guess, in this game mode. So you can actually have like, do you want your coach to be like a motivator, a great recruiter, or like a tactician? So there are different things that you can choose with your coach. So like how you build your program and those kinds of things. There's so much you can put into it.
Do you know what I think is a risky thing? But this will not be for anyone that like grew up playing modern video games.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can get too realistic. I saw one that made it so it was like if you're on the proper difficulty level or whatever, and you're on the road and you have to make like a 27-yard field goal, but it's to win a game, it looks darn near impossible. The little aim meter is like boom, 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 and I'm like,
it's pressure.
If I'm playing the game and I get down to a 27-yard field goal to win, I've done the hard part. Let me make the field goal.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose on that. Like, give me my moment of glory. My road to glory, if you will.
Yeah, there you go.
But I'd say, play the game. Play it. What are you going to do first? Get on the sticks and play the game. Don't get caught up in, like, you used to be able to create like a stadium, and you'd be sitting there going like, oh no, I need the big stands in the north end zone, but no stands in the south because that's where I'm going to put a mountain. I'll have a view, and it's like 2 hours in, I haven't played a game yet.
So one of the things that you can do in terms of you can create your own school, they actually allow you to do that online. So you can just do it like on your laptop or on your computer or whatever it is, and just do it
you
there.
Make your high school
and then
and your whole high school team.
Then you can just download it once you log on. That way you're not doing it all in the game. So it might be to be able to do a little faster. You have different times.
To type stuff in, a little A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
So I can create Shenandoah University.
There you go.
The D3 powerhouse that we are.
Take them to a national championship.
Taking to a national championship, baby. Let's go. Go Hornets.
Buzz. Is that what you guys did?
No.
Nope. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You should have. When we come back, inspired by Lionel Messi leaving the Copa America final with an injury and Argentina winning anyway, what players are most indispensable? Which players can you not afford to lose on teams that mean a lot to us here in the Triangle? Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
On a day after skis. Did I do it right, Smalls? I'm trying to do it. No, I'm trying to do it right. You got to do it.
It wasn't that bad.
Thank you.
It wasn't that bad.
Skis. Come on, Smalls.
You didn't have to do it twice, though.
Okay.
You did it once. I let you get away with it. I said it was okay. You tried to do it twice. Moderation, Evan.
Skis.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Adam Golden Studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. When I say everything for the exterior of your home, I mean it. So tell me everything that you have for the exterior of my home.
There's so many things I can't even remember the entire list. You know,
Good luck.
Thanks for the test here. But windows, doors, siding, roofing, gutters, gutter guards, railings, you name it. We have the exterior home improvement you're looking for. The main thing is we're a one-stop shop, right? So you don't have to call 2 or 3 different contractors if you need your roof done and you need your windows done. You can call one company and have it all done.
I like that. French doors.
French doors.
I like French doors. I can't speak French, but I like French doors. Can I tell you, back in the day, you guys did French doors and every window in a home I used to own.
Well, thank you for your business.
It was incredible. Can I also tell you that it was done in like 2 days? Is that even possible?
It is possible.
How do you guys do work that fast?
We're good.
You're fast. Good. That's Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. They do the best work in the industry and the best customer service in the industry as well. AluminumCompany.com.
You're not going to want to miss this. Diamonds Direct summer sale starts this weekend. For 3 days only, this Friday through Sunday. Get 20% off rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, and more. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. And designers are flying in from New York and LA to showcase their latest trends. That's 20% off, plus $100 off with an appointment and designer trunk shows. Tons of engagement rings on sale, too. 20% off starts Friday. Details at diamondsdirect.com. 3 days only and Sunday.
That'll be 30 even.
That's 90 points! Sorry, that was a lot. Now that I'm getting 3 times the points on food and fuel with the Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card, I get a little too hyped sometimes.
Cool. Would you like your receipt?
In the bag! Sorry. In the bag, please.
Learn more about the everyday, everywhere Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Get ready to be captivated by a gun range like no other. Hey, it's Victoria Vodenecker here for Youngsville Gun Club and Range, the only live-fire digital indoor shooting range on the East Coast. It's open to the public, offers 20 modern shooting lanes, and carries one of the largest selections around. And speaking of the selection, YGC has the hottest firearms to accommodate individual preferences and the best prices in the area. Youngsville Gun Club and Range is conveniently located off US 1 in Youngsville, and for $10 off a range card, use promo code SPORTS. Learn more at YGunrange.com. That's the letter Y, gunrange.com.
Hungry for flavor and value? Then it's Bo time. Nothing slays the hunger beast like some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. And there's never been a better time to satisfy your Bojangles sandwich cravings than now. With Bojangles Summer Sandwich lineup, you can choose a flavorful Cajun fried chicken filet sandwich, or a tender Cajun grilled chicken filet sandwich, or a crispy Cajun filet club sandwich, or a tasty Bo's chicken sandwich. Make it a sandwich combo and add your choice of a side. Maybe Bojangles seasoned fries, dirty rice, or Cajun pintos. And to complete the perfect meal, Bojangles legendary iced tea. There's a Bojangles sandwich combo for everyone in the family. Summer just doesn't get any better than that. What are you waiting for? You know you're hungry, and you know you want flavor and value. So, it's Bojangles Sandwich Combo time.
Let me talk to those of you who are contact lens wearers. Are you tired of wasting time and money every day, putting them in, taking them out, cleaning, ordering new ones, glasses, prescription sunglasses? I could go on and on. Dr. Lori Travers and Travers LASIK are your answers to my question. In just 5 minutes per eye, Dr. Lori can put you on the path to 20/20 vision. Plus, it's totally painless. You can go back to work the next day. And 2 years, 0-interest financing is available. And we're throwing in $1,000 off. Now the hard part. You actually have to pick up the phone. 919-510-6830. Make the call now. The consultation is free. You could go online, traverslasik.com, but you can call 919-510-6830, 919-510-6830. Go to 20/20 vision in less than 10 minutes. Dr. Lori Travers, Travers LASIK. See what you've been missing.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. On Friday, we talked a bit about the Copa America, the final. And most of it was like, hey, Lionel Messi, how cool is Lionel Messi? And then Lionel Messi got hurt in the Copa America final. His ankle swelled up pretty good, and he was out of the game. And
yeah, I heard about like 70th-ish minute. There we go. Nailed it.
And they won anyway.
In extra time.
It was actually kind of a obviously the goal was cool. Give him credit. Won the game. But watching Messi on the sideline, he got all happy, and then he started to walk out onto and it was like, ow, 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 right after he watched his team won, which is pretty cool, right? So we thought, do you know who that's really pretty cool for? Argentina, right? And what I mean by that is Argentina is able to say, we won even though Lionel Messi got hurt, right? So you kind of get to kick the whole like, hey, he's Gladys Knight and we're the Pips thing. It's like, hey, we put on a pretty good show when Gladys Knight wasn't there. So we started looking at local teams that maybe wouldn't be able to pull that off, right? If there's a player out there that if they went down, if they got hurt, it would be Dunzo, right? It would be what the probably common consensus would be for Argentina if Lionel Messi went down. So, which team should we start with?
Let's go ahead and go with, well, we've been talking a little bit Carolina Hurricanes, so let's talk a little Carolina Hurricanes.
What player is indispensable for the Carolina Hurricanes? If they got hurt, Dunzo. Well, first of all, there's a lot of good players, right? If you lost Jacob Slavin, I think you would see it on the, like, you would notice. If you lost Jarvis or Svetch, you would notice. It would be very difficult. I think part of it is how good this player is, and part of it is the position he plays. Sebastian Aho, I'm not breaking news here, by the way.
No.
But Sebastian Aho, look who's behind him at center. If he gets hurt, your top line center is probably Jesperi Kotkaniemi. That's a drop-off from Aho to Kotkaniemi. And it's also like what he means to that team, right? When there's a play that needs to be made, a lot of times they look to Aho to do it. Even if it's Svech, it's like Svech from Aho. Like he's involved, he's in the mix. He's a leader. He's Sebastian Aho.
He's one of your top penalty killers. He's obviously your top line center on 5-on-5, and he's one of your top power play guys. Literally take away like the top or one of the top guys in every situation off, not good.
And the difference between him and the next, that's important as well, right?
Yeah, we're knocking on wood every time we talk about these.
Oh, 100%. But like, you know, unfortunately for like Jacob Slavin's argument in this is they got a lot of good defenders, right? They got a lot of good defensemen that can not fill his skates by any stretch, but can mitigate the damage of an absence. Sebastian Aho, I don't know if there's somebody there to really mitigate unless you start shifting positions around and really getting crazy. How about Panthers next?
All right, let's go for it.
I think this is one of the more difficult ones.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the most indispensable? Who is the most you can't afford to lose on the Carolina Panthers? Logic might say it's always the quarterback, right? Just because that position is so important. But I actually think there's a world where, Andy Dalton's veteranship, his experience, he can, at the very least, keep the car on the road. And at the worst, maybe even drive it a little faster, right? And, obviously he's not a priority for the team, long-term because of his age and everything. But he might not be as good as he once was, but he's good once as he ever was, right? He can give you a game or two. He had 370 passing yards in a spot start last year, whatever that ended up being. Threw the ball around it in Seattle. I think I'm going to go J.C. Horn here.
Okay.
Which is not great because he's also probably been the most hurt player over the last 2 or 3 years. But here's why I'm going J.C. Horn. I think he is the most, when he's there, he makes everyone else's job easier. Right? If you have a corner you can put on an island and not forget about, but you can kind of forget about, that allows the defensive coordinator, the play callers, the other positions to blitz more. It allows the safeties to get involved in run stopping. It allows just so much to happen where, all right, he's eliminating the outside wide receiver. We now get to play 10 on 10, and it makes the game smaller for the rest of the defense, which benefits Jadeveon Clowney, right? Benefits Derek Brown, benefits the linebacker. It benefits everybody else. So as long as J.C. Horn is healthy, I think there's a lot of interesting things the Panthers can do. Now, the reason why I hate that answer is because J.C. Horn gets hurt so darn often.
Yeah, it's the one downside. He's that good, though. But like you said, there's the trickle-down effect of him being out is more noticeable.
Yes, exactly. And I think other people will be exposed if he's out. Where, hey, the linebackers are playing great. What you don't realize is that's because the safeties get to come down and help him out because they don't have to go over and help out J.C. Horn. So J.C. Horn's out, safeties have to go back to help him. Linebackers are more exposed. Oh, look, the linebackers aren't playing great. It's all a hip bone connected to the thigh bone kind of thing. We shouldn't talk about bones when we're talking about J.C. Horn.
No, we should not.
They break.
That's me knocking on wood.
Yeah, a lot of this, I'm not a superstitious person, but if you want to throw salt over your right shoulder and spin
Burn
around.
Sage.
Yeah, if you want to do whatever you got to do, grab your Lucky Rabbit's foot, feel free. UNC basketball. RJ Davis.
Yep. That's pretty much it.
He is the defending ACC player of the year. He is the reigning best shooting guard in the country. He is a Naismith Award, has to be on every short list for player of the year. He might be the most important person to his team in the ACC, right? I think he is going to be responsible for Elliot Cadeau's further development, right? Making sure that R.J. Davis is taking on the best perimeter defenders and allowing these other guys. Ian Jackson is going to get shots because of R.J. Davis. With Armando Bacot out, they're going to lean on R.J. Davis as a leader and as a tone setter. He's going to be, as a distributor, responsible for getting whoever's playing center and the 5 for North Carolina involved. There's a lot on R.J. Davis's plate. But as I like to say about great players, right? It's like, well, yeah, that's the guy you want to put a lot on his plate, right? It's like it's much better to have a lot on the plate of the reigning best shooting guard in the country than it is to have a lot on the plate about everybody else. But I think if he were to miss time, that would be a massive knock on UNC. And, you know, if it's a short-term absence, like if you're expecting them to miss a little bit of time, I think you almost lean on like smoke and mirrors if you're Hubert Davis, right? You try to be creative. You try to mix up. You try to throw small ball lineups. You try to throw big lineups. You try to just kind of beg, borrow, and steal your way until R.J. Davis can come back, because there's just no one that you're going to be able to step in and say, like, all right, you're going to play the R.J. Davis role. All right, we're gonna call the plays that we call for R.J. for you. Right? It's all right, here we need you to score 38. Like, that's not fair to anyone else on the lineup. Maybe Ian Jackson, the stud freshman, but you want to see him do it a few times before you're comfortable with that. Should we go to a football team? Let's go to a football team. NC State football.
All right.
Maybe it's cliche. I'm going the quarterback. Grayson McCall.
Grayson McCall?
It's, you know, we're going to talk about this more tomorrow, but this is how crazy it is to have depth at quarterback in the ACC or in Power 4 football. 4 teams. We're going to ACC Media Day, whatever it is. Is that next week? We're going to ACC Media Day kickoff.
Be there Tuesday.
Next week. And 4 teams are bringing 2 quarterbacks. UNC and Duke are bringing 2 quarterbacks to ACC kickoff. SMU and Cal are bringing 2 quarterbacks to SEC kickoffs. That is not something you see very often. And do you know what I think a lot of it is? You have to string along these players as long as you can so they don't get upset and want to hit the transfer portal, right? Oh, no, you're both in the running. I think coaches know who's going to get the snap for on the first play of the first game.
They know.
But they're bringing them both to be like, no, it's a competition. No, we're going to play you both. No, you're both in the plans.
I think also part of it as well, like, I don't want anyone else to know who our starting quarterback is going to be. Because,
True.
you know, that's the thing is like, well, if I'm bringing 2 quarterbacks, it means you don't know who my starters are going to be.
NC State can't even do the Shroud game, like you're saying. Are they going to bring Grayson McCall and an incoming true freshman to Media Day?
Let's bring Lex Thomas.
Lex Thomas might end up being the backup, but Grayson McCall is the dude, and he becomes the point man. He becomes the center, the fulcrum for an offense that has very, very high expectations, right? You have all these wide receivers. Did you end up watching any of the Giants Hard Knocks?
No, I haven't watched any.
Okay. Marvin Harrison Jr. was kind of interviewed by the Giants at the Combine, and it was kind of really mean to Kyle McCord, who was the quarterback at Ohio State last year and is now the quarterback at Syracuse, one of. They were just like, so you're a great wide receiver. And Marvin Harrison was like, thank you. You're working hard to get open here. Yes. And he broke open on the film, and Kyle McCord missed him by a mile. And they just went like, how do you respond to a quarterback who, robs you of a touchdown here and should have been able to find you? And Marvin Harrison Jr. was like the nicest guy on the planet, right? He was just, no, I never say anything to the quarterback. I know Kyle. I know he's working hard. By the way, McCord was also his high school quarterback. He's like, no, I never say anything to the quarterback. And then the Giants started like trying to prod him. They're going like, yeah, but that's, I'm going to censor what they said, but that's a really cruddy throw right there, right? And Marvin was like, no, it's a really, really bad throw though, right? And he was like, no, I would never say anything to the quarterback. Like, he just kept dodging it and dodging it and dodging it. But it is like, no matter how good your wide receiver is, if you're Marvin Harrison Jr., no matter how good your wide receiver is, he can get wide open, future 4th overall pick, son of a Hall of Famer. He can get wide open downfield. Quarterback can't get him the ball. It's just a pretty route, right? It's just a piece of film that you show the young kids on. This is how you get open. NC State needs a quarterback that can get the ball to Casey Concepcion, Noah Rogers, Wesley Grimes, Justin Jolie. Like, all of these guys need a quarterback to get the ball to. And even if you think somebody like Cedric Bailey or Lex Thomas, as you brought up, the depth guys at quarterback are really, really good. Growing pains and everything, you can't have them this year. You need somebody that's ready to go in there and ball out, because this team built towards this season in such an obvious way. Let's go back to basketball.
Okay.
Duke basketball.
All right.
Who's the most you can't live without this person this season for Duke? Who's the most you can't afford to lose this person? I'm going to be honest. People are going to get annoyed with me about this.
All right.
Cooper Flagg.
Okay.
It's going to annoy a lot of you because there's going to be a lot of talk about Cooper Flagg, and you're going to think he hasn't earned it, and you're going to think, can't we see him in a college basketball situation first? I get it. I see the logic. I'm not knocking you for that opinion. I just don't necessarily participate in that opinion. I think this guy is going to be one of the stud freshmen that we've seen in college basketball, especially over the last couple of years. He is going to be that important to Duke. And you know what I'm going to say? I think the defensive side of the ball as well. Right? Obviously, offensively, he's going to be a magnet, a gravitational force. People are going to pay attention to him. But if you look at someone like outside of Malawash, who may or may not play huge minutes, I think some of the other post players they're going to want to play are going to be a little bit undersized, and it's going to be really nice when you can essentially look to your small forward, and say, all right, can you help defend the rim? Like, can you be a shot blocker and help defender coming across to make guys struggle at the rim? Because that allows you to play a little bit maybe tougher but shorter at the 4 and the 5, and it's just going to give them a ton of basically versatility. So if he goes down, suddenly you need to play Malawash, and that's going to shake some things up. UNC football. Let's finish on UNC football.
Okay.
Because this one is maybe the most obvious.
Not RJ Davis in UNC basketball?
I don't actually that's a good question. Maybe we'll ask it. Is who's more important to their team? RJ Davis to UNC basketball or Omarion Hampton to UNC football? I think that's a great question.
It's a great question.
Who's more could they do, like, you can't do without? Omarion Hampton to UNC football, who UNC's bringing 2 quarterbacks to ACC kickoff, right? It's Connor Harrell, it's Max Johnson, the transfer. They're going to have to lean on Omarion Hampton, whoever it is, or if it's some combination of both early in the season. Lean on Omarion Hampton as they get their feet wet in Tar Heel football and figure out what they are to the offense. And then Omarion Hampton, I mean, he was the engine last year. Obviously, Drake May was a pretty, flashy, like, steering wheel. But Omarion Hampton was the engine, right? Well over 1,000 yards, bunch of touchdowns, big plays, 50-plus yard plays. Like, he was that last year. And now with kind of Tez Walker and right, they've lost some guys. He's going to be even more the engine. So, like, I've said this the last 4 or 5 times. We've done, like, category questions about ACC football teams. It's going to be annoying, speaking of annoying, how often Omarion Hampton is the answer for the UNC Tar Heels, right? Who can they not do without? Omarion Hampton. Who's most likely to be an All-American? Omarion Hampton. Who's going to be the most fun to play with on College Football 25? Omarion Hampton. He's earned it. He's one of the best running backs, if not the best college football running back this season. I'm going to put you on the spot. RJ Davis or Omarion Hampton?
RJ Davis.
I need to look at the depth of the running backs.
Here's the thing as well. It's like RJ Davis is on the floor both sides of the ball.
Yeah, but I don't recall him being any kind of a lockdown defender.
No.
Good defender, like more wily than anything, right? Been around the block, excellent communicator, always in the right place. But like with just a size and length thing, I don't know if he can be a lockdown defender.
Carolina's identity in terms of basketball is transitioning from defense to offense. Yes. And he's a massive part of that because, like, it always has been. And they really got back to that identity for a big chunk of this past season. And him in transition opportunities, either getting to the rim as a ball handler or off the ball, catching and shooting threes, he was so big and massive part of that.
So you're saying Omarion Hampton stinks?
No.
That's always the reaction to sports radio, by the way.
Oh, she's saying he sucks.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. You took Michael Jordan over LeBron, so you think LeBron, you're a LeBron hater. It's like, that's not what I said at all. Let's go ahead and jump to something real quick here that I am kind of a hater on.
Speaking of hate, yes.
We had the same thought. A ton of rumors out there that Clemson and Florida State are talking with the Big 12. How do we describe this? That they are flirting, expecting within the year to be like it's all rumors, it's all conjecture, it's all hearsay, he said, she said. Clemson and Florida State rumored to be talking with the Big 12. I had 3 extremely obvious and sequential thoughts when I heard this the first time. My first one was, why? Right? Other than you just want movement, like you just, like, we caused all this ruckus, we want to like, you know, it's, I hate, like, household jobs that you can work at for a long time, chores, and it doesn't look like you did anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Laundry?
Yeah, like exactly. Like I want to see that I've accomplished something. So if you're Florida State and Clemson and you've been like bashing your head against the wall, I want to get out of the ACC, and then it's years later and you're still in the ACC, there's still no sign of movement, and maybe the Big Ten and the SEC don't even want you now. Like maybe you move to the Big 12 just to be like, look at everything I've done, right? That's why I like mowing the lawn. If it's not the hottest day in the world outside, it's actually sometimes kind of nice, right? You're going up and down in lines. You get to look back and look at all of this that I have accomplished. Look how nice my lawn looks. Maybe that's what they're looking for. The next very obvious thought that popped into my head was, is the Big 12 actually better than the ACC? Like, am I blinded by my ACC fandom? Because I don't hide that. Like, because I look at it and think, I think that's at best, a lateral move, right?
That's just, hey, I'm moving for the sake of moving.
Going to the Big 12, taking Clemson and Florida State, if Texas and Oklahoma were still there,
different situation.
I think I might be convinced. But now you're just going to the Big 12, and it's just the Big 12 again. You have a couple of schools all the way at the top, and then everybody else fighting for that next line. Some good, some bad teams. And not only that, is it so, like, if you move from the ACC to the Big 12, you're not only saying the Big 12 is better, you're saying it's so much better that I will forfeit all of the history I have in the ACC to go do it, right? Nebraska moving to the Big 10, suddenly they were no longer rivals with Oklahoma, who was their rival, right? It's like, are you willing to pass on being a in-conference rival with Miami if you're Florida State? Are you willing to pass on the Clemson, NC State, Clemson, Virginia Tech histories? And then lastly, the third thing that popped into my head, most importantly, was pay the money and I will escort you out of the conference. Mm-hmm. If you want to pay $500 million, which is the money you agreed to pay if you wanted to leave when you signed the grant of rights, if Clemson and Florida State each want to pay the $500 million to go to the Big 12, I'll throw you a going away party. I'll use $300,000 of the $1 billion you're going to give us to throw you a wonderful going away party. We'll play every Clemson game back to back to back to back on ACC Network for 2 weeks. Just to say bye. If you want to do what you agreed to do, pay the money, right? Now, if you want to go to the Big 12 and you don't want to pay the money, now you're gonna get a fight, right? The ACC is gonna lawyer up. You're gonna lawyer up. It's gonna take forever.
That's what we got going on right now.
Not much will change. If you want to pay the money that you agreed to pay when you signed the grant of rights, twice, by the way. If you want to do that, that's what contracts are there for. That's buyouts. That's exit clauses. That's there's a whole bunch of different clauses that can add up to this, but it is very, very simple. If you want to leave, pay the money, and there will be no hard feelings. And oh, by the way, probably going to the Big 12 because the SEC and the Big 10 don't want you. Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, during his opening remarks earlier today, said this about the future of the SEC.
But I don't spend an enormous amount of my time thinking about it. I certainly don't spend any time engaged in that recruiting activity. Because we're focused on our 16, and I want to be respectful of the difficulty that's currently faced with that set of issues within the ACC and my colleague, Jim Phillips. We're focused on our 16, period. You've seen how we've made decisions over the last decade plus for contiguous states to join. I think that's incredibly wise and provides remarkable strength. The last three questions are part of the reality, which is I've responded now 3 times where our focus lies. Our focus is on our 16 members. I have a responsibility to pay attention, and I'm certainly not going to fuel speculation on what happens next.
So that was a little bit about what the ACC has going on with the lawsuits in 3 different states, a little bit about kind of the landscape of college football and college sports, and then obviously about the SEC. Here's how far I trust what Greg Sankey says into a microphone. Not at all. Not at all. Remember the heist of Texas and Oklahoma felt like it happened at night, and he raided the Big 12?
Oh, we were in ACC kickoff 3 years ago in Charlotte, literally so this time, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, Oklahoma and Texas are going to the SEC. Everyone's like, wait, what? What's happening now?
If Greg Sankey told us everything the SEC was doing and saying behind closed doors, we wouldn't have been that surprised. So, Clemson and Florida State have to go to the Big 12 because the SEC doesn't want them. They'll find out if the SEC wants them, like in a carrier pigeon at 2 a.m. one night. They're going to get like a message.
Send a raven.
Yeah, they're going to get a message, meet me at the oak tree on Maple Street. And it's going to be like, what? Who? Why? Be a message there waiting for you. The SEC is not to be trusted. And Clemson and Florida State are not to be trusted. And actually, to be completely honest, not many in college sports are meant to be trusted right now.
Oh, God, no.
Everyone's looking out for themselves. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break. When we come back, Chaisson of the Carolina Panthers. What could he mean for the Panthers? What could he do for the Panthers? Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
Players get gaslit in arbitration. You relive every turnover, every lost battle in the corner, every missed shot, because this is about getting paid. But it's also, on the team's end, about getting under the cap.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Tim Donnelly here for Zero Res. Get 3 rooms Zero Resified. That's carpets clean as they could possibly be, starting at just $109, and get a free hallway done on top of that. Just call now at ZeroResRaleigh.com or 919-995-0000.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling, better with Pepsi.
For a limited time, get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for only $4.25 at Refuel. So hurry in and enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi today.
Attention, if you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance. And you better watch out, because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They are experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and will fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-970-3199. That's 800-970-3199. 800-970-3199.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
They say health is wealth, and I could not agree more. That's why if you or somebody in your life is living with everyday aches and pains, I want to tell you about Relief Factor. And I'm telling you, I can feel the difference. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. Naturally. Now that's a big deal. Developed by doctors. Relief Factor's unique formula of ingredients all work together to help support your body's response to inflammation. Instead of masking pain for a couple of hours, Relief Factor actually really helps reduce or even eliminate your pain for good, whether it's neck, back, joint, or muscle pain. If you're looking to feel better, live better, give Relief Factor a try. In 3 weeks, you will know if it's working because you'll feel it. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Save on your first order. Don't let pain tell you how to live. Fight back naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loan, and personal loans. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value is way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. Call now, 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Record heat possible again today. Looking at a high of 100, we have a heat advisory in effect. Could feel like 110, and a small chance for thunderstorms this afternoon. But heat is our big story for the next few days. Just down to 78 overnight tonight and back to 99 tomorrow. Likely another heat advisory and heat index feeling like around 110.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company. Where your comfort is their business, visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 210 points today to 40,211.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for football at 4. Set your watch by it every day at football. We go ahead and we talk pigskin. Today is the latest entrant in best shape of their life season, renewed focus on the game, in for a big season. This is basically what happens every year about this time. This is stage me or stage I, stage individual, right? There's the OT, there's the mini camps, there's the OTAs going on. We're not quite to training camp. There's this section, right? 4 or 5 weeks off where players get to go on their own, which means they might be back at their hometown, which means they might go find somewhere to train with other players, which means everyone is very excited about the work being put in. And nobody can really confirm or deny if the work is good or not. Right? I go back to this all the time, but it's one of my favorite Rob Gronkowski stories. During COVID, they had to work out at home, and their strength and conditioning coach wanted them to go find like a high school field near their house and run, like do their conditioning, right? So run gassers or whatever the run was. And he said, just set up your phone, film it, send it to me, right? So every day, go run this many sprints or whatever. But he noticed that every other day it was the same run. It was, same 300-yard sprints or whatever it was. So he just took a bunch of different T-shirts to the same field, and in one day cranked out like 12 videos looking like it was a different day. So then he just sent them in like, hey, crushed it this morning. Here you go. And it's a video from, 2 weeks ago that he just filmed a bunch of them in one day. That's Gronk.
Just pour water on the shirt to make it look like you're sweating.
Work an unbelievably hard amount of time for one day, right? Because you had to do 12 days worth of conditioning just so you can chill the rest of them. So you don't know if Instagram posts can deceive, if you know what I mean, right? I'm going to do one really good rep, film it, and I'll put it out there with hashtag Rise and Grind. But K'Lavon Chaisson might be the simplest, obvious answer to who do you hope is putting it all together during this stage of self-improvement. He might be the simplest answer towards how can the Panthers greatly overachieve this year. If he plays great, which I'm not saying is likely, right? He's been in the league for almost half a decade now, and we haven't seen great out of him yet. If he plays great as an edge rusher, it would help this team overachieve a ton. Right? It is everyone is awesome season. And there's an article from Houston, which is, I believe, where Chaisson is from, that basically says this dude is capital A, capital W, capital E, sum. Like, he is capital great right now. I have some quotes. Here we go. Let me bring them up. Everything he could have asked for in a fresh start. It's a true opportunity to establish an identity for a team, city, and culture. It's everything I asked for, says Chaisson. They're getting a complete player, and they're getting a winner. That's the most important thing, is the W column. I got used to winning in high school and college. It's a mindset and acknowledgement of the grind it takes to reach a certain level and make a certain impact. It's about competition. He did spend the last 4 years on the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is why he did not necessarily say, I got used to winning in the NFL. It's like, hey, we had 2 number 1 overall picks while I was there. He continues, they're getting someone who is truly loyal and respects the game, a true rarity. All in all, they're getting a complete player, a complete person and human that comes with it. I feel like I have every tool it takes to be a great player. Oh, yeah.
I'm feeling it.
Now we're in let's go season. And you know what? I hope it's right. He obviously has the talent. For those of you that don't know, he was an edge rusher out of LSU, a first-round pick of Jacksonville. And, first-round picks do come, I like to say they have 9 lives. They can play poorly at a bunch of different spots and keep getting minimum contracts because someone thinks they can fix them.
Mm-hmm.
Let me save you. I hope Ejiro Evero, the defensive coordinator for Carolina, saw something in how this player was being used at the NFL level that was inconsistent or didn't line up with what he did best at LSU, and that he can unlock that potential. Because if he does, that changes the Carolina defense. Now, it's big if, right? It's capital if. He has 4 years of NFL tape. He has 73 tackles and 5 sacks. He's averaging 1.25 sack per game as an per season as an edge rusher. It's not great. But if he does live up to some form of that potential, what it does is it makes Jadeveon Clowney more effective. It makes DJ Wonnum more effective. It makes A'Shawn Robinson more effective. It makes Derek Brown more effective. And obviously Derek Brown is going to be asked to be effective regardless because he's getting paid a boatload of money. But those other 3 are all incoming guys, right? They're, along with K'Lavon Chaisson, new guys to the Panthers. So what that means is the impact of the new players can be increased if there's a simple physical specimen that can win on the outside opposite of Jadeveon Clowney. And DJ Wonnum's coming off an injury. It's probably tough to ask him to do that beyond being a great run-stopping edge. But think about what it does. It makes the secondary better because the quarterback doesn't have the same amount of time to get rid of it. It makes the linebackers better because you have to address 2 edge rushing threats rather than 1, and that withholds resources to go ahead and block the second level. Chaisson is a $5 million gamble. If that gamble hits, that is one of the ways that you start to look at the Panthers. And, yeah, $5 million gamble, right? That's like us throwing $10 on red when you first walk into the casino. And $10 on black. Let's see what goes. here's what it does, right? It's a $5 million gamble that if it hits, say you start going above expectations, right? The expectations right now for the Panthers are what, 5 wins, right? 4.5 is probably what a lot of the numbers are set at. 5.5 is what a lot of the sports books likely have the Panthers. If you want to start even letting your mind wander, right? Even let the fantasies take place. Start talking about 7, 8 wins. You have to look for ways that you have to look for things that could happen that would not be expected, right? Jonathan Brooks, effective from the very, very beginning, despite the fact that he had a major knee injury not long ago into last football season. Xavier Legette being one of those rookie wide receivers that doesn't appear to need an on-ramp. The offensive line, Ike Ekwonu, stepping up levels in his pass protection, right? I'm not sure I'm betting on any of these to happen, but if you're going to let the fantasy, right, the fever dreams take place of winning 7 or 8 games, some of these unlikely things are going to have to happen. And Chaisson being that dude, being an edge rusher that gets, I'm not saying 15 sacks, gets 6.
He has 5 in his career in 4 years.
If he gets 6 in a year, that's one of those things where you're like, wow, that was unexpected production. That allows me to reconcile how they go from a realistic 5-win team to a 7 or 8-win team. Right? That, like, expecting Deontay Johnson to have a big year. It's like, no, they're banking on Deontay Johnson having a good year. Right? Expecting Robert Hunt to be one of the best guards in the league and going like, well, if he's one of the best guards, that can unlock a new ceiling. It's like, no. They are banking on it. That is the floor.
Yep.
Right? Your good players playing good protects your floor. Your wild cards playing better raises the ceiling. Chaisson, he's a wild card.
Big old scratcher ticket.
Scratchers, they make me laugh. I love scratchers. They're so...
That's the thing. If you hit, you hit.
The adrenaline rush of seeing, like, your number pop up. Sometimes you buy, like a $10 scratcher. You win $2. You're walking on cloud 9 the rest of the day.
I won something.
That is an $8 loss. But you got to see, like, your number and the winning numbers match up one time, and you're just stoked about it. That would be the equivalent of, like, Chaisson having 2 sacks in the first 6 weeks and then no more. And be like, hey, you know what?
I broke even.
$5 million. I won something. Walking out of here with something. But yeah, that's a player that could raise the ceiling of the Carolina Panthers. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly. Want to tell you about Miller Lending, the home of the no closing cost loan. Why do I emphasize no closing costs so often when talking about Miller Lending? Well, first of all, this is becoming more popular in the industry, or at least exploring this avenue is becoming more popular in the industry. Miller Lending has been ahead of the curve. Gordon Miller's been doing no closing cost loans since 1987. Miller Lending has been doing these loans since they arrived in our area. Why do I emphasize it so much? Well, here's why. Rates, I know I can't predict them. There are some in the industry that feel like they can, but I feel it's better to just be prepared for whatever direction the rates go. Meaning, if you need a mortgage, Miller Lending can get you a mortgage, get you a rate, right? No closing costs and fees, so none of that extra cash out of your pocket. If rates go up, well, great. You already locked in your mortgage, right? You already you have that rate, and it'll stay what it is. If rates go down, no closing costs, no fees, refinance again and again and again over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, however long it is, and not have to go out of your pocket each time you do it. Miller Lending can help you not just with this decision, but they can be your helper. They can be your guide over the next few years if rates continue to drop. Go ahead and give them a call, 919-447-3377, or you can visit them online at millerlending.com, millerlending.com. Once again, that phone number, 919-447-3377, or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. We'll take a break. When we come back, we have the podium, and this is an all-time podium. Stick around.
Hi, this is Renee Chu. The most trusted local news in the Triangle is now on the radio. WREL News Plus. Now get breaking news and severe weather reports on the radio 24 hours a day. Listen on the radio at 96.5 FM in Durham, 99.3 FM in Raleigh, and everywhere in the Triangle at 101.5 HD3.
Hot summer days mean time on the water. Let Sound Station and Security make your time even better with our custom boat options. At Sound Station and Security, our Raleigh marine experts can help you for everything with your boat, from the perfect audio system to lights to video. We do it all custom, and we do it all from scratch. You're unique. Your boat should be too. Make sure everyone knows where the best party is this summer on the lake with Sound Station and Security. With 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
You're not going to want to miss this. Diamonds Direct summer sale starts this weekend. For 3 days only, this Friday through Sunday, get 20% off rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, and more. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. And designers are flying in from New York and LA to showcase their latest trends. That's 20% off, plus $100 off with an appointment and designer trunk shows. Tons of engagement rings on sale too. 20% off starts Friday. Details at diamondsdirect.com. 3 days only and Sunday.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
What are you doing? Eating caviar. Yuck. Get this. Supreme 7 scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery have the best odds to win $400 with a $4 million top prize. So I'm learning to enjoy rich people stuff.
Okay, let me try. Gross. What's next?
Ballroom dancing.
I'll lead.
New Supreme 7s, a shot at supreme riches. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.18. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Get ready to be captivated by a gun range like no other. Hey, it's Victoria Vodenecker here for Youngsville Gun Club and Range, the only live-fire digital indoor shooting range on the East Coast. It's open to the public, offers 20 modern shooting lanes, and carries one of the largest selections around. And speaking of the selection, YGC has the hottest firearms to accommodate individual preferences and the best prices in the area. Youngsville Gun Club and Range is conveniently located off US 1 in Youngsville, and for $10 off a range card, use promo code SPORTS. Learn more at ygunrange.com. That's the letter Y, gunrange.com.
On average, people spend over a third of their life sleeping, yet most sleep disorders go undiagnosed.
I'm Megan Gigling, General Manager of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sleep struggles left untreated can lead to health problems and have a serious effect on your quality of life. We've served the Triangle for 20 years. Let us help you get the sleep you've been dreaming of.
If you're in need of a sleep study, a knowledgeable doctor, CPAP machine, or supplies, Parkway has you covered. For more information or to schedule an appointment, visit parkwaysleep.com. Sound sleep, sound health.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Boy band fans, perk your ears up. Text keyword music, MUSIC, to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see New Kids on the Block.
Nice.
At Coastal Credit Union Music Park on July 28th.
Excellent.
can hang tough. Huh? Music to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see New Kids on the Block later this month. I mean, it's a vibe. You know what it is. It's a vibe.
I took my sister. They performed at PNC. It was New Kids on the Block, Salt and Pepper, En Vogue,
Very much
and
of
Rick
the
Astley.
era.
And Rick Astley. They did it was like an 80s, 90s throwback show. And it was at PNC Arena, I want to say it was about 2 years ago. And took my sister there for her birthday. She's a huge New Kids on the Block fan. Had a blast.
Yeah?
Had
All
an absolute blast. They put on a heck of a show.
Well, there you go. You have the Dennis Cox seal of approval.
Great time.
Text keyword music to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the certified great show of New Kids on the Block. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into our podium. We are 19 minutes into the college football 25 era.
Yes, we are.
College football 25. College football is a video game for the first time in over a decade. You can actually play it as of, to the masses 19 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the download times are very quick right now.
Oh,
with
of course.
Every college football fan of a certain era waiting in line to have those downloads happening as we speak.
Ethernet plugged in.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't do this over Wi-Fi,
Go to
folks.
GameStop, buy the disc, or wherever you buy your discs. For the podium, we thought we'd keep it simple. Best sports video games of all time. This can go all the way back to where you had to go to an arcade to play it with the 2 buttons and the joystick.
That's my kind of game.
Come all the way up to right now. Can go wherever you want, right? If you really wanted to, you go Tecmo Bowl or something like that if you want to go that far back. We have a bronze, we have a silver, and a gold. Dennis and I filled out our own lists. So we thought we would share them with you. And as always, if you have a bone to pick with our lists, at Donnelly Sports for me, at The Fan Rookie for Dennis on Twitter, just make sure you get them right? Don't complain to me that Dennis's list is bad. Send that straight to him.
No, you can complain to him. That's fine.
We'll go bronze, silver, silver, gold, gold?
Sure.
All right. By the way, this is a personal list. I want that to be clear. This is not like the best of all time. At least that's the way I handled it. These are my favorites. Because sometimes I go against the grain when it comes to video games. Bronze, NBA Street Volume 1.
Oh, okay.
It is, to this day, the only game I've beaten in one day. It's I don't know what about it. It was the age. I was in like 5th or 6th grade maybe. Got the console to myself for a day. It was a PS2, I believe. It is a ridiculous game. Once you beat the game, you get to like put a Yeti on your team or something like that. But the Michael Jordan was the little narrator guy that was like, "Oh, you think you're pretty good? Let's see if you can do the next level." So I was big into Michael Jordan, and you created your own player. It was a whole thing. NBA Street Volume 1, probably from like 2001.
It's a good one.
Stretch on the cover with the afro. That was my guy. What's your bronze?
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
You know what I am?
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
I respect
awesome.
the heck out of the pick. I am in the minority. I'm a Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 guy.
Oh,
on Game
really?
Boy. On Game Boy.
Okay.
But most people are all in on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
I had PlayStation 2. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
I don't think I had a PlayStation at the time, but I was in.
Awesome.
I'm in on Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Need I say more?
Have you heard the stories he's told recently about that?
No.
Tony Hawk's a great podcast guest.
Okay.
Apparently he showed up, right? He lent his name to the video game, and it was selling very well. And they said, like, Activision, I think it was, who made the game, said, like, hey, we want to have dinner with you. We want to give you your first, like, royalty check. And he's like, my agent told me it was going well. I thought I was going to get, like, a couple $100,000. Like, I didn't know how much. Apparently they slid a check of $5 million across the table and said, like, plenty more where this is coming from.
Oh, wow.
And he said, I tried to go, like, poker face with it and be like,
Like, yeah,
oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I would like the salad. But he's like, I didn't even know what to do with the check. He's like, can I just go to the bank with a $5 million, like, piece of paper? So anyway, he tells this story much better than I just did. That was the very quick version. But that's how much that game was like a caught fire hit once the Tony Hawk Pro Skater thing happened. Good pick. I'll give you that. Silver, NBA 2K11.
Oh, yeah.
I also, before doing this exercise, I didn't think I was a basketball video game guy. But it turns out
you're 2 for 2 right now.
Turns out I might be. I like
NBA Jam going to be your gold?
No. NBA 2K11 for this reason. In college, there's a lot of getting your buddies together, somebody's dorm, somebody's off-campus apartment, and playing video games. And you lose, you get off the sticks, right? I am a terrible video game player. The only, this is when Call of Duty was big, like Modern Warfare was very big. FIFA was very big. Guys always wanted to play these. Obviously, college football, Madden were very big. The game I had the best chance of, getting to play 3, beating 2 guys, was NBA 2K11.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always like, let's play 2K. Let's play 2K. Because if I played Call of Duty, I was going to get my chance on the controller. I'd lose the very first game. I'd have to go to the back of the line. If I played FIFA, I was going to get 5 gold, which was our rule. If you ever get down 5, game was over. I was going to get 5 gold. I was going to have to give the controller up, go to the back of the line. Over and over and over and over again. NBA 2K11, I had a chance. Thus, it is my silver medal. What is yours?
I was pretty torn on this one.
This is a very hard list to make.
This is an extremely difficult list. As a wrestling fan, on the N64, WWF No Mercy came out back in 2000. This was a tough one between this and WCW versus NWO World Tour for me, because that was also a great one. WCW NWO Revenge, also a great video game, but I got to go with WWF No Mercy.
If I wanted to play the devil's advocate here and upset a bunch of people,
I also loved NES Pro Wrestling on the original NES. Starman was my go-to guy.
If I wanted to troll a little
versus
bit here and upset quite a few people,
don't do it.
I might say the category was sports video games.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
I might say that. Instead, I'll say, let's go to our gold. Let's go to our gold.
Yeah, they had TLC matches and everything. It was a great game. It's considered a sports video game.
Let's go to our gold.
Okay.
NCAA football 2006.
06, really?
Desmond Howard was on the cover.
Okay.
Again, it's my personal list. It's sentimental. This was the very first time in my life my cousin was in the game, and he wasn't like a scrub. He was going to be a starter or one of his he wasn't like a 43 ranking that I had to go in and boost. Like I could legitimately start with my cousin and have a Heisman moment or whatever. It's the first time I knew someone in a video game. It wasn't actually him. It was quarterback number 7 for Virginia Tech.
Okay.
But it was him. It was his height, his weight, his measurables and everything. So for me, I played that thing into the ground, and I'll never tell him this, and hopefully he's not listening. But when I started losing, I would have to sub in a faster quarterback because I like speed options. So he would win the Heisman, but if we were ever in a tight game, I had to bring in a fast guy to run the offense I wanted to run. But I believe I was 13, 14 at the time. It was having someone in the game was the coolest thing in the world to me. So there you go. That's my gold. What's your gold?
My gold? Madden 2005. The introduction of the hit stick. Madden 2005. Ray Lewis on the cover. Oh, something that leveled the game up. Massively. That game was so great.
This might be where we're different. Do you know why? I think introducing the hit stick was my that was maybe the inciting moment of my decline with Madden. Because I'm not good at it. I was bad. I couldn't figure it out. I'm not good with video games. And introducing the other joystick into the action was, my brain couldn't handle it. It was the introduction of me losing to all my friends, me not having fun playing the game because it was too hard. And that probably says something about my video game elusiveness.
Maybe.
I was more of let me run a whole bunch of short passes and nickel and dime you down the field. And then they just started getting lit up by the hit stick. And I'm going just get down. Just stop getting lit up and fumbling.
Guy out with a broken collarbone.
Madden 04 was on my list. Let's just talk about other ones.
Was Michael Vick as the cover? That was a great
Michael
one
Vick
too.
is the cover, but you weren't allowed to play with Michael Vick.
No.
At least with friends, because it was unstoppable. Send everybody on go routes, have them run. Unstoppable.
What are some of the honorable mentions for you?
I had Madden 04.
Yep.
I have Backyard Baseball.
Backyard Baseball is a great one.
I talked about a whole bunch of different Maddens, the earlier Maddens. And like the NBA jams, the Mike Tyson punch-outs.
NHL 94 for me, way up there.
Little before my time, I heard a lot of good things about NHL
game.
94.
Great game.
Shout out to Swingers, the movie, Blood on the Ice.
Standard classic.
There was a FIFA moment. I was never good at it, but I did enjoy it. Scoring a goal in FIFA is very adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
There was a UFC game we played a lot of in college. I was, again...
like UFC 3 or whatever it was, UFC 2.
I'm just not good at these games. I was always a big fan of, like, playing against the computer and doing dynasties and stuff. And, like, some of these games just don't have good versions. They're all made for, like, online gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'll play online and get smoked. And
Mike Tyson's Punch-Out?
Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was fun.
A lot of great games.
I like racing games.
Oh, yeah.
Going way back, like, to get into the arcades, like Cruising the World and Cruising USA.
Mm-hmm.
Anything we're missing? What were your honorable mentions?
NHL 94. I actually did have Backyard Baseball as one of mine as well.
Backyard Football, too. I had all those on, like, PC.
FIFA 15, I think was the one. Or FIFA 13. My apologies. FIFA 13 was a good one. But anyway, there
you go. That's our podium.
Pretty good list of stuff there.
Pretty solid list. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. By the way, I saw Bronny at the Summer League. Apparently they did a Call of Duty event.
Oh, good for him.
He won.
Oh, all right.
He was, of the bunch of players that played, he was the best. I don't know what that says. People will probably get mad at him saying that is, shouldn't be spending all your time being good at video games. But I can say some of the best athletes I know, or some of the best video game players I know, they, I don't know, maybe it's like the quick eye movements and all that kind of stuff. Which is tough. Oh, here's a little bit of news for you. This is not, I wouldn't say breaking news, but ECU football fans, this according to Ian Rappaport of the NFL, just tweeting it out literal moments ago. Keaton Mitchell, whose season ended with an ACL tear last year for the Ravens, running back out of ECU, who was one of the more dynamic players in the league last year, was placed on the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list to start training camp. So, not to be unexpected, right? He had the kind of blown out his knee a bit, but he is a player who I think the Ravens would be, I think he went from, in a short amount of time last year, this is how I'm going to say it for the ECU fans. In a short amount of time last year, he went from an experiment, a guy who they may have liked, maybe they like the 40 time, whatever it is, undrafted free agent, to somebody who it's like, no, let's pay attention to him. Let's make sure we get him back to healthy, see if he can help us in the future, because his dynamic ability, his big play ability, it popped at the NFL level. And if you're going to have dynamic big play ability, suddenly you become part of a future plan. So putting him on the PUP list, right, that physically unable to perform list as he bounces back from the ACL injury, I think that's to be expected, and it's a good sign, right? It's like he's a player that they're gonna probably give a year now to get back to 100%. When a lot of undrafted free agents, you pop your ACL, guess what you have? A good story to tell in the bar 20 years later of I was doing good with the Ravens. I wasn't impressing them in practice. I had them where I wanted them, and then the old knee went. Anyway, I'll have another. He's going to get to see it through, and that's the good part about kind of bursting onto the scene the way he did early in his appearance, early in his tenure with the Ravens, is now they'll give him the time to get healthy and give him another shot. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, and he's a former ECU Pirate. So it's good to have more of your players out there making plays. It's good for your program. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're about a minute early, but let's jump to it anyway. Let's get to the Storm Tracker. Every day, 4:33. This is the last week, by the way, of the Storm Tracker, because these are off-season rumors, and we're going to get to the point where it kind of settles down.
Especially since arbitration starts this weekend.
Yeah, so really
starts the 20th. Down. So we might actually have, by the time even Friday rolls around, we might hear of new deals.
Yep, and then we'll put the Storm Tracker to rest until next year, next offseason. But for right now, we're still tracking rumors, we're still tracking news, we're still tracking the Canes offseason. Dennis, what are we tracking today?
All right, so we're tracking Evgeny Kuznetsov. We're tracking Evgeny Kuznetsov. So the reports were that he is signing a 4-year deal with SKA St. Petersburg out in the KHL. The KHL is a Eastern European hockey league, mostly based in Russia. There's a couple teams I think in Belarus and maybe one out in the Czech Republic, something along those lines. But nonetheless, Eastern European league, considered the number 2 quote unquote professional league.
Yep.
Out there, major professional league. Some people say the AHL, but that's neither here nor there. But nonetheless, it's an alternative for people that want to stay in Europe or maybe don't make it in the NHL. Hey, I can still get paid a lot of money to potentially play in this league. So the reports were coming out earlier today that Kuznetsov is going to be looking to terminate his contract with the Carolina Hurricanes, which in turns means he'll look like he's going to sign a 4-year deal to play out back in his home country of Russia. Totally fine. You're at the end of your career. You've already won a Stanley Cup. You made a ton of money. You want to go back and play home to end your career? By all means, go for it. But what does that mean for Carolina right now? Well, we've had the contract negotiations taking place between the Canes and Martin Necas, Jack Drury, and Seth Jarvis, all restricted free agents. Well, if this $3.9 million cap hit that is now of Evgeny Kuznetsov becomes available, well, now the questions are, do the Carolina Hurricanes actually have the money to sign all these guys to the deals they want? You don't have to do a bridge 2-year deal with Seth Jarvis because in the long run, that's actually going to cost you more money. So that's the big question right now is that when does this officially take place, this termination of Kuznetsov's contract, and when does that cap space become available for the Carolina Hurricanes? That's the big question is when's that process actually taking place?
And then it becomes so everything you just said is true. And I would assume if and what is there's an agent, his Russian hockey agent did come out and say pump the brakes. There's no deal is imminent. It's just a possibility, whatever it is. But I'll cite our very own Canes insider Adam Gold, who said he saw that report and Adam is confident it will happen. So if we assume it happens, to me, the most interesting question is, all right, now you got $3.9 million extra dollars, right? That's going to put the team, $13 and change, $14 million in cap space. Can you work Necas post-arbitration or pre-arbitration, Jack Drury post-arbitration or pre-arbitration, and a happy Seth Jarvis into that group? And if you can do it, do you also have the resources and wherewithal to have a little bit of depth at center?
Maybe.
Because right now the centers are Aho, Kokiniemi, Stahl, and Jack Drury on the fourth line. And it would have been those four spots, obviously all going to be in the rotation, all going to be playing. There was a Kuzi that could have been in but a couple of those spots, which would have provided some depth, would have allowed maybe someone to go play a little winger, would have given them options. The options are wearing down a little bit now, not to mention how dire it becomes if there's an injury to a centerman. So what do you do with the $3.9 million? What do you do with the $14 million in the bigger picture? And can you get Seth Jarvis happy? I mean, those are the questions. I would put up with less depth. I would put up with more question marks if it means Seth Jarvis is happy and tied to this team for the next 8 years.
You're looking at about $16 million in cap space, roughly, once this goes through, roughly about $16 million. Let's say you do a deal with Necas for $6 million. You do an average annual value for Jack Drury for $2 million, and you give Seth Jarvis $8 million. Bingo.
That's
there it is. There's your 16.
Yeah, that's working backwards from the 16.
There it is. There's your 16. I just did it for you guys. Hope you were listening.
And sometimes I think this helps. You can be honest with the agent. We're giving you everything we got. We'd give you more, but the league would fine us, right? That's what we have. And it's fair and it's honest and you can be on Front Street and you can say how lucky is it that Kuznetsov wanted out, that he wanted to go to St. Petersburg or wherever he's going to end up, and we can now afford to give you a more fair deal.
Here's the thing with Seth Jarvis is that if this does open up the cap space to sign him to an 8-year deal now and not have to do all right, we'll sign you for 2 years at $6 million a year because that's all we can afford right now. in 2 years, if he keeps playing like it is, the price tag's only going to go up.
Yep.
And so it's actually going to cost you more money in the long term against your cap and all that. I understand the cap's going to go up, but would you rather have Seth Jarvis locked up for the next 8 years at, let's say, $7.75 or $8 million a year, or be 9+?
Can I tinfoil hat real quick?
Sure.
You usually like to go on this.
Tinfoil hat, let's go.
If I'm Jack Drury, did I just recognize that I have more leverage than any fourth-line center should ever have in the NHL?
Yeah, you know what you could say? Hey, guess what? The guy that's terminating and leaving, I played second-line center in the playoffs over that guy.
And if you don't somehow keep me around, you have 3 centers on the roster.
Oh, he's not going
anywhere. But it's give me a little bit more to avoid the arbitration where who knows how it's going to end up. Like Jack Drury just became factually more important.
Oh, yeah.
Kotkaniemi just became factually more important. There's absolutely no more talks about buyouts, absolutely no more talks about could you get someone to accept that contract. It's Kotkaniemi is now kind of a key player. If you look at that second line, this is what I anticipate the second line looking like. Kotkaniemi in the middle, Chaisson on one side, Roslovic on the other.
No, I don't think Roslovic's going to be over there.
Fourth line?
Yeah.
Then
Roslovic will probably play on the third or fourth line.
So who's the other one on the second line?
A rookie.
You think a rookie's that high?
I think a rookie has to be.
Interesting. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. I have no idea which one. Felix Unger-Sorum?
Probably.
19. So we're going to have Jesperi Kotkaniemi, Martin Necas, and a 19-year-old.
He's 18. Oh, yeah.
He'll be 19 by then.
Yeah.
That's a bold prediction. We could save that for Fridays. I don't hate that, but I'm not sure they'll start that way. I think you probably start the rookie on the fourth line, and if he looks like he belongs and he's playing well, you have the idea of mixing it up there. But that is interesting. Can you imagine Rod Brindamore with a rookie on the second line?
Did it a couple years ago, Seth Jarvis.
Hey, if you tell me one of these guys are Seth Jarvis, I'm going to tell you, put him on the second line. That's
put him on the first.
That's a big if. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Here's Dennis Cox.
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free. No credit cards, no car loan, no personal loan. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value is way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money out for that home improvement project you've been talking about getting done. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. Call now, 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Duke and UNC basketball. One of the best rivalries in sports is squaring off in the offseason. I'll tell you how next.
Golf's final major will be found on 99.9 The Fan. Listen all week long as we cover the Open Championship from Royal Troon. Find out if Brian Harmon can go back-to-back or if a new champion emerges. Depend on us for constant leaderboard updates and every big moment through the presentation of the Claret Jug. Coverage of the Open Championship on 99.9 The Fan is teed up by McConnell Golf with 16 top-ranked courses, the best private club value from the mountains to the coast.
Hungry for flavor and value? Then it's Bo time. Nothing slays the hunger beast like some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. And there's never been a better time to satisfy your Bojangles sandwich cravings than now. With Bojangles Summer Sandwich lineup, you can choose a flavorful Cajun fried chicken filet sandwich, or a tender Cajun grilled chicken filet sandwich, or a crispy Cajun filet club sandwich, or a tasty Bo's chicken sandwich. Make it a sandwich combo and add your choice of a side. Maybe Bojangles seasoned fries, dirty rice, or Cajun pintos. And to complete the perfect meal, Bojangles legendary iced tea. There's a Bojangles sandwich combo for everyone in the family. Summer just doesn't get any better than that. What are you waiting for? You know you're hungry, and you know you want flavor and value. So, it's Bojangles Sandwich Combo time.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling, better with Pepsi.
For a limited time, get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for only $4.25 at Refuel. So hurry in and enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi today.
An orthopedic surgeon makes understanding pain painless.
It's the biggest frustration that patients have.
This is Dr. Pamela Mehta, talking about aches with unexpected origins.
I see patients with pain in their knees, their hips, their back. Oftentimes, the pain is actually coming from their feet.
Bet they aren't expecting to hear that.
Those patients are super surprised. They can't believe that the pain in their knee isn't coming from actually inside the knee. But if you think about it, the feet are the base to your whole body.
That's why she suggests personally fit arch supports. Emphasis on the personal fit.
If you get something basing it just on your shoe size, it isn't going to fit you properly.
And if it doesn't fit well, it probably won't work well.
Go get arch supports fitted to you. It's as easy as going into a Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store is in Raleigh, Chapel Hill, Fayetteville, and other locations across North Carolina. Visit goodfeet.com to book your appointment today or just stop by.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Tim Donnelly here from my friends at Zero Res. And if you're like me, you love to DIY, right? Do it yourself. Save the money. I can tell you from experience, they Zero Resified my house, and you can't get it this clean by yourself with the carpet soaking machines or anything else you can rent. Go ahead, give them a call now, 919-995-0000, and ask for the Station Special. That's the 99.9 The Fan Special. Get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $109 and get a free hallway done on top of that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. By the way, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. Always putting out cool stuff there. We have some things up our sleeve for the rest of the month on our YouTube channel. So 99.9 The Fan, some content that you won't get on air, you'll only get on our YouTube channel.
Only there.
Exclusively on our YouTube channel.
We'll have another episode of Panthers Playbook.
When is that coming out?
Be coming out this Thursday.
There it is. Chris Lee, Dennis Cox, talking Panthers. 99.9 The Fan, as I said. Just search for it on YouTube. You know how YouTube works.
Yeah.
So, sometimes I do think, like, I have to let people know how. And then I get to, like, well, you go to YouTube, you type in 99.9 The Fan, and everybody knows how YouTube works. It's
just like Google.
Yeah, it's just like everything else on the internet. So find our YouTube channel. I know you're smart enough to find it. It's called 99.9 The Fan. And then once you're there, subscribe, watch the videos, comment, share them, do all that kind of stuff. Again, you guys know how YouTube works. I don't want to insult your intelligence with a step-by-step how-to. With that being said, let's jump into a conversation about Duke and UNC basketball. Right? Many consider the greatest rivalry in sports. There's the you know, all the ACC network or whatever runs every single Duke North Carolina basketball game back to back to back to back leading up to every time they play. It's a big deal.
It always delivers.
And it does. There's always something. There's always a storyline, a big performance, a fantastic finish. There's always something. They're squaring off right now, though, in a different kind of cage match, a recruiting cage match. This was pointed out to me by, I believe, Matt Giles of SI, Sports Illustrated. According to Sports Illustrated, UNC has offered 17 players in the 2025 class, right? That's kind of the next recruiting class to you know, take the spotlight. Duke has offered 13 players in the 2025 class. So they've offered 13 and 17 players total. That's like when you're Duke and Carolina, you can't go around offering like 55 people because you might get 37 commits, and then you look like a jerk who has to go back and go, well, never mind. So you got to be a little stingy. So UNC has offered 17, Duke has offered 13. 9 of those are the same. 9 of Duke's 13 players are also offered by UNC. 9 of UNC's 17 players that they've offered are also offered by Duke. That is well over half of Duke's and slightly over half of UNC's. This is like the stuff that people are recruiting nerds dream of. You have 2 rivals going at it. And by the way, they're both national recruiters, right? If you're UNC, you're not like, well, actually, this is kind of funny because it came out today. NCAA football, and I'm sure college football 25 that came out earlier today. You used to have to recruit, and they'd give you like 6 options to pitch a recruit. Early playing time, program prestige. One of them was always proximity to home, right? Like if you were remaking Louisiana Monroe and somebody was from Louisiana, you'd pitch them on like, oh, we're close to home. That's how you would recruit in the game. If you're Duke and UNC, you never pitch like, oh, close to home. Someone coming from California, you're like program prestige, right? Ability to turn you into a pro. Like all of the coaching, right? All of the other things. Duke and North Carolina can recruit anyone they want. There's not a single player out there that Carolina and Duke couldn't get a meeting with, right? Hey, we want to have you up here for a visit. They can get that call with Duke. They can get that call with Carolina, and they're going. So why would you go with 9 out of 13 or 9 out of 17 players that are also on the top of the list of your rival? If not, you want that smoke, right? You want all that smoke. I would like these 9 players, they're going to be asked about it, right? These 9 players, what are they saying about each other? These 9 players, which program do you think can get you to the NBA better? These 9 players, which one do you think you're going to win a national championship at? Those 9 players are in a very, very interesting situation. I've long said this. I have a 3-year-old son at home. I'm not going to be the super pushy like helicopter dad when it comes to sports. But for my own, like if I were being selfish, I want to know what it's like because I was not a 5-star recruit. I was not a any star recruit. I would love to know what coaches tell 5 stars. Like, I want to be in that living room, let him make the decision, but I would love to just hear it. Can you imagine getting to be a fly on the wall, seeing someone have, like, Hubert Davis come into your living room on a Tuesday and then John Shire on a Thursday? I'd be tempted to just keep them, like, make a final 2 of Duke and Carolina. And oh, by the way, you're going to be introduced to both fan bases as well. And you're going to get every resume on both sides. Good and bad, right? If you're one of those 9 players, you're going to get, come to Carolina, Armando Bacot just said he made $2 million. You're going to get all that from Carolina fans. You're also going to get Duke fans going, ask them when's the last time they had a top 3 pick. You're going to get both sides. And if you're John Shire, if you're Hubert Davis, you just ramped up the pressure on your recruiting. Do you know why? Losing a recruit to Texas? All right, they got a little bit more money. All righty, they wanted to stay in the South. Lose a recruit to UNC? There's going to be whole message board threads about it. Why couldn't Shire land so-and-so if he wanted to come to the area and play in the ACC? What do they have that we couldn't offer? Do they still do message board threads?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I didn't know if it was completely replaced by social media.
Oh, no.
Message boards were big when I was playing.
Oh, no. Message boards are still out there.
All those anonymous people just working each other into a fervor. Duke and UNC, 9 players in the 2025 class have an offer from both. First of all, credit to those 9 players. Those are pretty valuable. If they're only offering, 30 scholarships between the 2 of them and you got 2 of them, that's The mecca of college basketball is pretty interested in your abilities, which is something to be proud of.
That is something that if you're a high-end recruit and just being recruited by Duke and Carolina in and of itself is just awesome. It's like, okay, like I'm clearly highly regarded in the college basketball circles if two of the blue blood programs are offering me. But now it also comes down to when it comes to paying players and like NIL deals and those kinds of things. It's like, all right, well, more than just playing at Cameron Indoor, more than just, playing in the Dean Dome, what else is there for me? Like what's going to be the thing that puts you over the top?
That's the other side of it is like this is graduate level recruiting, right? If Duke is offering somebody or UNC is offering somebody and their next best quote unquote best offer is without being insulting here is Pittsburgh, there's certain things that are just like, goes without saying, right? Like, hey, we put out more NBA players, we bring in more NIL money, we have better this, we have better that, we win more, blah, 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 blah. When you're recruiting against North Carolina, none of that matters because North Carolina's going, yeah, us too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you play in cool atmospheres? When we come into town, we got you. Like it's you have to go to your next talking points to try to win a recruiting battle against UNC or vice versa.
Like you say, oh, you play in great environments every once in a while at your place. It's like that's every game for us, even on the road.
Yeah, exactly. So it's fascinating. I'm going to be paying attention. I'm going to go find out those 9 names and see who's in their final 6 and see who's in their final 3, and I'm going to be paying attention.
Point to the rafters.
And there it is. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, the starting 5, starting with one of the coolest events in sports happening tonight. Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
While I'm watching Colombia, Uruguay, not only the end of that match, but the fight in the stands after it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Heard it got spicy.
A horrible, horrible look. But that was the most excited fans we have seen in 5 years at Bank of America Stadium. Man, look at all the happy people at Bank of America.
Just took the other kind of football.
Yeah, there you go. More of that.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, Katie. Hi. Let's embark on a performance calibration initiative synthesizing qualitative and quantitative metrics for this past fiscal year.
If Heineken Silver was corporate jargon, it would have all the info you need. None of the annoying gibberish.
What I was trying to say is, you crushed it last year, Katie. Lady, you are getting a big, fat bonus.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer. Only 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
That'll be 30 even.
That's 90 points! Sorry, that was a lot. Now that I'm getting 3 times the points on food and fuel with the Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card, I get a little too hyped sometimes.
Cool. Would you like your receipt?
In the bag! Sorry, in the bag, please.
Learn more about the everyday, everywhere Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Bobby Joe absolutely hated her job.
Can't hate that job any more than I do.
So, time for one of those fancy tech schools?
No, I could never afford that. I'm going to Sharky's.
Sharky's?
Yeah, no better place to relax. Great food, cold beer, good whiskey, darts, billiards.
So now you love your job?
No, I still hate my job, but I loves me some Sharky's. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, everybody loves Sharky's. Sharky's Place, one of the best neighborhood bars in the world. 5800 Durley Road by the Shell Station.
Dauntless Transmissions has been the trusted transmission shop in Raleigh for more than 27 years. The experts at Dauntless Transmission are dauntless when it comes to caring for your vehicle. Whether that means a total transmission rebuild, complex engine or brake service, or just a routine tune-up, your vehicle will be dauntless when they're done with it. Visit DauntlessTransmissions.com. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
Dauntless is currently looking for skilled auto technicians to join the Dauntless team. Visit dauntlesstransmissions.com/careers to apply.
North Carolina FC is a USL Championship soccer team competing right here in the Triangle. NCFC was founded in 2006 but continues to grow year after year, bringing fun and excitement for the whole family. I'm Victoria with 99.9 The Fan and was able to chat with some of the guys from the team, so let's meet one of the players now.
Hey there, everyone. This is Colin Martin.
What makes NCFC so special to you?
What makes NCFC to me special is that there is such a rich history. It's been a part of multiple different leagues at this point and has silverware to speak for itself last year. And yeah, I just want to be a part of something that has been in this community for a long time and try to make my own history with the club.
Do you have any kind of quirks or superstitions that you do maybe before a big game?
At the national anthem, I like to take a moment and close my eyes and think about my family and friends and think about why I'm out there and a little bit about what I want to do during the game.
Thanks, Colin. You can see for yourself these amazingly talented athletes at WakeMed Soccer Park in Cary, as well as check out all of their information and purchase tickets at NorthCarolinaFC.com.
You're not going to want to miss this. Diamonds Direct summer sale starts this weekend. For 3 days only, this Friday through Sunday, get 20% off rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, and more. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. And designers are flying in from New York and LA to showcase their latest trends. That's 20% off, plus $100 off with an appointment and designer trunk shows. Tons of engagement rings on sale too. 20% off starts Friday. Details at diamondsdirect.com. 3 days only and Sunday.
Window Nation can help beat the heat in your home with a buy two, get two free offer on insulated, energy-efficient windows, plus zero down and no interest or payments for 2 years. Schedule an in-home estimate now at 866-90NATION or windownation.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback!
Visit GotBrian.com. That's GotBrian.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. We had another monster afternoon of heat. Along with that, a few thunderstorms have popped up. They'll die down once we lose the heating of the day. Tonight's low only 78. 40% chance for storms tomorrow afternoon, and we're heading back to 100 for the high.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 210 points today to 40,211.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan on a Monday. Thank you for starting your week with us here on The Fan and here on The Drive. It is time for the starting five. And as always, we start with number 5. The Home Run Derby is tonight. I still get excited for the Home Run Derby. Sorry. I have my starting 5 in the wrong order.
That's fine. Go ahead. We'll do the Home Run Derby first.
Oh, no.
Let's knock this one out of the park, and then we'll get to the next one.
I see what you did there.
Yep.
This is what breaking news does to me when I don't copy and paste correctly. The Home Run Derby is tonight. I still get excited for the Home Run Derby. As you can tell, that's why I'm so excited to talk about it. I know some people have soured on it. Here's my take on the Home Run Derby. You don't watch it every year because it's awesome every year. It's kind of similar to the slam dunk contest. You don't watch it every year because every year it's going to be awesome. You watch it because every handful of years it's transcendent, right? You don't watch for the year when Jim Thome wins with 18 home runs in the final round, right? You suffer through the year when Jim Thome wins with 18 home runs in the final round in order to make sure you are watching when Josh Hamilton goes absolutely bonkers that one year, right? You don't watch the slam dunk contest because you're like, hey, I really think the third year that Nate Robinson won was awesome. You watch it because you might catch Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine going absolutely bananas. And those moments at something like that are really the only moments, in addition to like big playoff games, Super Bowls, where like the entire sports-loving community comes together, right? Like the Ken Griffey Jr., the Mark McGuire, the Josh Hamilton, there's a Prince Fielder. Like those home run derbies where like everybody just kind of goes, oh my gosh, what's happening here? It's one of the only times everybody's like, this is awesome, and there's no argument, right? Because like on a NFL Sunday, if there's a great game, if it's not the Sunday night game, well, guess what? Like the Panthers fans are watching the Panthers game, and the Lions fans are watching the Lions game, and on and on and on and on. So everybody's not united. The home run derby is still one of those nights where if awesome happens, you text your friend, like, are you watching this? They know exactly what you're talking about. The contestants, Pete Alonso from the Mets. He's a solid, well-known home run derby guy. Gunnar Henderson of the Orioles. I'm very excited for that one. Adolis Garcia of the Rangers. I believe it's in Arlington, so he's going to be the hometown guy. Bobby Witt Jr. from Kansas City. Jose Ramirez from the Guardians. Alec Boehm from Philly. Teoscar Hernandez from the Dodgers. And Marcell Ozuna from the Braves. All we need is one of you. All we need is one of you to go full crazy, hit 30 home runs in a row or something crazy like that. The format changes every year, so I don't know if that's possible. But I'm looking forward to it, and I'll be watching. That's number one. Now we can get, number 5. Now we can get to number 4, which probably should have been number 5.
We are the 4 horsemen. Woo!
Evgeny Kuznetsov. Bouncing to Russia? ?
So it appears.
Can you give all the details, the background real quickly here? Because then I have a point to make, but I don't want to miss anything.
All right, so Evgeny Kuznetsov, Carolina Hurricanes forward, looks like he is agreeing to a 4-year contract with SKA St. Petersburg in the KHL. The KHL, the Continental Hockey League, located mostly out in Russia. It's an Eastern European league, one of the top 2 or 3 leagues in the world for professional hockey. So by him wanting to sign and play 4-year contract reportedly out in the KHL means he would have to terminate his contract with the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, here's the thing, is that his average annual contract value is $7.8 million because the Carolina Hurricanes, when they acquired him, only had to take on half of his salary. The Washington Capitals actually retained half of his salary. So he's walking away from a good chunk of money to go play in the KHL. In order to go do that, again, he has to have his contract terminated, which my assumption from my understanding is that the $3.9 million cap hit that it would be against the Carolina Hurricanes this year will be able to be available now to the Carolina Hurricanes. But you don't have a player.
But you don't have the player. So you're essentially, if it happens the way we think it's going to happen, you're trading $3.9 million in cap space for Evgeny Kuznetsov.
Basically.
And you're going to spend that money probably on getting hopefully some form of Jarvis, Drury, and Natchez under the cap. Which is, by the way, like that's fair. That's not a bad thing to do. Here's my kind of one of the bigger points here. If you ever wonder why teams don't go all in and fulfill all your wild and crazy wishes at the trade deadline, look at what just happened to the Carolina Hurricanes, right? They had a team that they felt was ready to go win a Stanley Cup, right? A team that had knocked on the door the past handful of years, a team with young players that were developing and players who they knew were on contracts that they weren't going to be able to afford to match, or would get contracts that they weren't going to be able to match that offseason. So they finally did the thing that they never do. They went and got a rental. They went all in at the deadline. They even took a chance on a bit of a rehabilitation project, meaning a player who at one point in time was a main contributor on a Stanley Cup team who may have let his game fall off a little bit, but they thought maybe a change of scenery would do him good. So they went and got Jake Gensel on a rental, and they went and got Evgeny Kuznetsov on a bargain basement deal. It didn't pay off. Things happen, right? Hockey is notoriously hard to predict in the postseason, right? It's the best team all year doesn't always win, right? So for whatever reason, they get bounced in the second round. And you're already going like, man, went all in at the deadline, didn't turn out. Well, then Jake Gensel spins, and maybe you could argue, depending on who you ask, gives him a little bit of the okey doke, a little bit of the, yeah, I'll sign with you. Yeah, yep, $8 million, 8 years. You come up to that, I'll sign. They do. He goes, haha, never mind. Tampa leaves him in a lurch. Kuznetsov, you're like, well, at least we got one guy from our trade deadline spending spree. He's still under contract for next year. He comes back, nope, I want to go to Russia. See ya. Leaving him in a lurch again. Maybe an advantageous lurch, right? Because maybe that 3.9 can benefit them in other ways. But this is why teams are leery of making changes at the deadline to go all in, because if it doesn't work out that year, which, sometimes even if it's the right move, it makes your team better, it makes you a favorite, crazy things happen, right? Puck luck goes the other way, whatever it is, you lose. Now you're left clinging to players who might not want to stick around. Because if I'm not mistaken, Kuznetsov played his entire career prior to the Canes with Washington, right?
In terms of the NHL, yes.
So, right, maybe he planned, once the trade happened, maybe he was like, no, I'd love a change of pace. And then it turns out he doesn't. Maybe he got even a little homesick. And I think it's fair to say Washington with, all the Washington of it might be a little bit more international. I don't know, maybe there's a better Russian restaurant somewhere nearby. Because remember last year he did have his mom or dad come watch him play, and maybe both, and they were like cooking Russian food, and Pyotr Kochetkov was coming by to say hi, to eat the food that made him feel like home.
Mm-hmm.
Like just wanting to go home is not a problem, but you probably know that about a player who's been in your program and developed with you, that you might not about a trade deadline candidate, right? You trade for him. You don't know, you know what? He's actually a little homesick. You might want to leave soon. You might not know that. This is why the deadline is a risk. This is why trade deadline is a risk.
By the way, the team that he's signing to, SKA St. Petersburg, is the same team where Carolina Hurricanes defensive prospect Alexander Nikishin is currently signed with, and the Carolina Hurricanes are trying to get him to come here, but he's under contract over there. So maybe, hey, look, we'll let Kuznetsov come play for you guys.
On a 4-year deal.
On a 4-year deal, if you just go ahead and let Nikishin come over here.
1 year early.
Just 1 year early.
So one year of Nikishin for 4 of Kuznetsov.
Yeah, what's the problem?
By the way, in Russia, Kuznetsov is a celebrity.
Oh, legend.
So, from a business perspective for SKA St. Petersburg, he's going to put some butts in the stands. He's going to sell some merch.
Mm-hmm.
He's
going to be a big deal around there.
There's positive reinforcement for 4 years.
Yeah. It's like, look, Nikishin's going away anyway. We're letting you guys have a star.
I did float that to Adam Gold when we were doing our little studio change. He was like, nah, it won't happen. They're not going to let Nikishin leave, which
makes sense.
Did kind of throw a wet blanket on my excitement because I was like, here's the deal. Here's why they're holding it up, because they're not going to let Kuznetsov go there unless Nikishin comes here. And Eric Tulsky suddenly turned into like a Western movie where he's at a duel going like, you draw first. Like I was all into it. And then Adam was just kind of like, nah, no. And I was like, fine. I had fun with my imagination for those 20 minutes. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That was number 4. Let's get to number 3.
1, 2, 3.
Major League Baseball draft going on as we speak, actually. There's 590 rounds?
596.
But the early rounds have already taken place over the weekend. And first of all, shout out to Danny Neckel. I've quoted his stats a few times. He's a guy that covers UVA, but he also is a wizard at finding ACC stats that make the ACC look good. So I'm a fan. He tweeted this out. The ACC is the only conference that had at least 4 players drafted in the first round of each the MLB, NFL, and NBA drafts. You want the best sports production to turn you into a first rounder, you go to the Atlantic Coast Conference. That's pretty good. At least 4 Major League Baseball, NFL, and NBA. And Major League Baseball, they had more. I can count 5 right off the top of my head. So it's not just 4, it's at least 4. Which is always good. Recruiting is always good, right? You come to the ACC, you can head out. next up in our reaction to Major League Baseball. I had this question earlier just looking at mock drafts. I now have this question even more. How in the world was Wake Forest the 8th seed in the ACC tournament with 3 top 10 picks? I asked this question when they were mock drafting them like 3 top 20 picks. They all went in the top 10, 2 of them in the top 4. Their ace, Chase Burns, right-hand pitcher, went 2nd overall to the Reds. Their right-hand pitcher, they're not the right-hand pitcher, Chase Burns, went number 2 to the Reds. Their first baseman, their big, jolly-ollie giant of a home run hitter, Nick Kurtz, 4th in the draft to the A's. Shortstop, Seaver King, went 10th. He was such a slacker for Wake Forest. He fell to double digits. He went 10th to the Nationals. How is this happening? By the way, I'm now up to 6 in my brain from the ACC. The 3 Wake Forest, there were 2 back-to-back and picked 13 and 14 to Florida State, and then Vance Honeycutt of UNC went 22 or whatever it was. How was Wake Forest an 8 seed? And if that's the case, baseball has to be the most frustrating sport in the world. Name another sport where you can have 3 top 10 picks and your team is going to be middle of the road in your conference. Can you imagine? This past year, Duke is like, yep, we got the number 2, the number 4, the number 10 pick, and we're on the cusp of bowl eligibility. Goodness gracious. Vance Honeycutt, by the way, went to the Orioles, which is a good sign for Vance Honeycutt at a UNC because it seems like every prospect that the Orioles bring in at some point in time is like a top 5 prospect in all of baseball.
Well, the Orioles are notorious for not paying their young stars, at least with their previous ownership. So maybe they have a really good scouting department because they're good again.
That's kind of the Rays of it all, right?
The O's are good again. Oh, yeah, Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay is always like, we have the best analytics, we find the best players, and then as soon as they're good, we trade them.
That's why if you love going to watch Durham Bulls games is because you're watching some of the top prospects in Major League Baseball night in and night out.
Junior Campagnaro, has he been called up yet?
I don't know.
I think he played a few games up there. I don't know if he's up there permanently, but he was a beast. I made it out there to Durham Bulls Athletic Park earlier this year because I wanted to make sure I saw him, and I knew the Rays would be calling him up pretty soon. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the 2 of us.
College Football 25, the video game released today. 4 o'clock came out. I'm sure there are some of you right now, maybe already, like year 2 of your dynasty? It's been out for an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, who's fired your coach already? That's what I want to know. Who's fired your coach? Who's gone into the portal?
Oh, the portal.
That they've made the portal part of
the
the
thing. They have
thing.
to have an option like week 6. Would you like to start tampering with other teams' players?
I wonder eventually you're going to start having like NIL deals and all that.
Oh,
kind
I'm
of
sure.
stuff.
I'm sure.
It might already be in this game.
It's sometimes I think too realistic.
Which is fun though.
Where they're like, you're going to make your quarterback look good at a group of 5 team that you're trying to build up to a power, and as soon as he's good, they're going to go, he entered the portal and got $2 million from Georgia.
Damn it.
Your team can't match the offer with your boosters from Ball State. Fine. I've also heard the recruiting is hard.
Oh, I bet.
It used to be back in the day with NCAA football, it used to be like, all right, if you put in the work, you can get 5 stars to go wherever, right? If you got to, do the thing, press the buttons, play the game. But I've heard now it's like you might not. Like if you're a bad team and you're trying to build them up, you have to start like recruiting 2 and 3 stars and slowly building up because you're like it's so realistic. Which, by the way, I get it. Some of you want that. Like, have you heard the term video game numbers?
Oh, yeah.
Right, when someone puts up like 50 points, 20 rebounds, 18 assists, like he's putting up video game numbers. I want my video game numbers to be video game numbers. I don't want to work really hard at a video game and my quarterback's completing like 56% of his passes for 220 yards a game and he's on the cusp of getting benched. That's too realistic for me. I want to have fun, which I think you can, by the way. You can like move the sliders and make it easier and everything, so you can do that if you're into it. But College Football 25, released today. Do you know what I think EA Sports is going to recognize?
What's that?
They should have just paid the players and got this thing done a long time ago because they're going to make so much money on this game.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to go, you're telling me we didn't have 2020, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and we just passed up all this money? And yes, that's exactly what they're going to have done.
What's the school? You're going to take Delaware and try to do the dynasty with your Blue Hens?
I don't think Delaware's in it this year. They'll be in it next year.
Oh, okay.
Because they have one more year in the CAA before they jump up to Conference USA.
FCS?
I've always been either a Sun Belt or MAC.
Okay.
I like playing
like
my games.
Eastern Michigan?
I like, Ball State.
You like Tuesday night in the snow?
Yeah, exactly. Ball State was a big one. I was a Miami of Ohio guy.
Okay.
There's Louisiana Monroe was one of my go-tos. I don't know why. What was your team?
My brother-in-law was a big Tulane.
Tulane, they're good. They got cool logo.
Cool uniforms
cool
and all
colors.
that kind of stuff. He was always Tulane. I was trying to think of taking an in-state school, like an in-state group of 5 school.
The sports radio thing I was talking about earlier. If you pick App, everyone's going to say, so you hate ECU.
I know, but so you go Charlotte. Everyone's like, oh,
you pick Charlotte. All right, you hate the HBCUs.
ECU and App.
Yeah, there's.
Well, the HBCU, there are no FCS schools in it, so I can't choose like A&T or Central, because that would be kind of cool to take, Central or something along those lines. Actually, my girlfriend is a Davidson grad. Shout out to the Wildcats. You can create a school. Maybe I'll create Davidson.
Or you could create or
Elon or something.
Dennis University.
I would go Shenandoah.
Sometimes I like making the craziest, the uniforms are hideous.
Mm-hmm.
The stadium has no stands.
Yeah, exactly.
Like just going the most ridiculous and then making Georgia come play us. But again, I don't think that works in this one because then you're going to get a notification that your revenues are down because you're not selling enough concessions during games. It's too real. I was always the guy. I made my quarterback 7'4", 450 pounds. And
ran
it just,
a 4.2.
Yeah, it just looked ridiculous. And I'm like, all right, let's go play. I feel like you can't do that now because the game is he was too big and he blew out his ACL. Come back in 2026 and see if he can play. And I'm like, no, I'm turning injuries off.
You sell nothing but beer in the concessions.
Yeah, exactly. I said all that.
I'm doing.
You ever play a roller coaster tycoon or all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure, you try to build an actual park, an actual theme park, but then you also have the one roller coaster that does a loop and then just doesn't end and sends them flying, right? You got to mess around a little to make it fun. I don't know how killing little roller coaster tycoon people was fun, but everybody did it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's get to number 1.
Go one!
Is Clemson really going to the Big 12? Is Florida State really going to the Big 12? Because there are a handful of, I don't even want to call them insiders or reporters, a handful of college football accounts on social media that are working very, very hard to convince the public that within a year, Clemson and Florida State are going to have some kind of agreement to join the Big 12. I hate to keep a broken record, but sometimes the same point needs to be made over and over again. How are you going to leave the ACC? Because I Florida State's been trying to get out, right? It's pretty well known the last 2 years. Florida State's been trying to get out of the ACC. If they haven't done so yet, what is going to change that is going to make them be able to leave now or in the near future? I see one way out, and that is through the exit fees that have been put into the grant of rights deal, the media rights deal with the ACC, which would be paying an exorbitant amount of money to leave, right? There's the exit fee. There's the grant of rights media money that you have to pay back. You're looking at $500 million. Before last year, it was revealed, right, because Florida State, it was in the minutes of one of their meetings or something. They were anticipating it being $572 million. Million. If Florida State was going to leave. So a year later, what are we looking at? 520? If Clemson and Florida State want to pay over $500 million each to go join the Big 12, good, go. That $1 billion will make the ACC a powerhouse, right? That's all it takes. $1 billion infusion, that's all it takes. Go. If not, how are you going to leave? If you plan on leaving without paying the exit fee, what do you anticipate changing? Right? I see the reports out of the different court cases because Clemson and the ACC are fighting in court in South Carolina. Florida State and the ACC are fighting in Florida. They're all fighting in North Carolina where the ACC is located. I see all they're doing is whether they throw out the case or not, right? That's all I've seen as far as the rulings, right? Because the ACC wanted to throw out everything Clemson and Florida State was doing. Clemson and Florida State wanted to throw out all the lawsuits the ACC was filing, and none of them got thrown out. There's nothing changing. Clemson and Florida State in the Big 12, you can want to be with each other. You can long for each other. You can bat eyes across the country at each other. You can't leave. Unless you want to pay an exorbitant amount of money, in which case, get out. I would love to not have to talk about this anymore. Just talk about how many national championships are going to be won by the ACC when they just cut a check for like $80 million each to each of the current members. Right? Because what would it be? There would be like 16 teams left? 15 teams left? What's $1 billion divided by 15?
A lot.
Billion divide. I'm typing it in.
Oh, okay.
Divided by
because you don't do honor math.
No. 60. That's a lot of sixes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sixes. What's that? $66,666,666.
Yeah.
Plus, and that's just rounding it to $1 billion. It's really $1,040 million. So we'll call it $70 million. Cut a check to each team. They'll recruit well. They'll NIL well. They'll pay their the money that everyone in Power 5 or Power Conferences and has to pay to the former athletes. They'll just pay it in a check. Here you go.
Done. Taken care of.
Clemson and Florida State, I'm tired of you. If you want to join the Big 12, cut a check. If not, shut up. And that check, we might set up a payment plan. You can give $100 million every Saturday for the next 5 Saturdays.
Just sitting over there in the corner whining.
I want to be with them. Great. You know what you have to do? Cut a check. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Right here, I want to tell you about Capital Financial Advisory Group. Actually, I'm going to save that for later in the show. Right now, I want to tell you that we need a couple of contestants for the numbers game. 919-860-5326. If you want to win tickets to see, you have to win the numbers game to win the tickets. Help from My Friends Tour, Summer 2024 with Switchfoot, Blue October, and Matt Nathanson. They are coming to Red Hat Amphitheater on July 25th. If you want to win tickets to the concert, you have to call in now, 919-860-5326, and you have to win the numbers game. That's coming up next right here on The Drive. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, this is Renee Chu. The most trusted local news in the Triangle is now on the radio. WRL News Plus. Now get breaking news and severe weather reports on the radio 24 hours a day. Listen on the radio at 96.5 FM in Durham, 99.3 FM in Raleigh, and everywhere in the Triangle at 101.5 HD3.
What are you doing? Eating caviar. Yuck. Get this. Supreme 7 scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery have the best odds to win $400 with a $4 million top prize. So I'm learning to enjoy rich people stuff.
Okay, let me try. Gross. What's next?
Ballroom dancing.
I'll lead.
New Supreme 7s, a shot at supreme riches. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.18. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Are you struggling to get a good night's sleep? Look no further than Parkway Sleep. For 20 years, we have been your locally owned and operated sleep center.
I'm Brandon Giggling, president of Parkway Sleep Health Centers.
Did you know that people are waiting a staggering 6 to 8 months for a sleep study at other sleep labs? At Parkway, we understand the importance of your sleep needs. That's why we offer openings within weeks, not months, saving you time.
Don't let sleepless nights take over your life. Visit us today at parkwaysleep.com. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money, your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get you your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Hey, John. Why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
The best summer savings for golfers is now at Global Golf in Raleigh. This week only, save up to 60% on all tailor-made pre-owned golf clubs. Global Golf is home to Carolina's largest selection of pre-owned golf gear. Whether you need some new grips, professional lessons, or wanting to trade in your current clubs, swing by Global Golf at 7320 ACC Boulevard. Don't miss amazing summer sales and more at Global Golf, home to the best deals in golf.
Hungry for flavor and value? Then it's Bo time. Nothing slays the hunger beast like some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. And there's never been a better time to satisfy your Bojangles sandwich cravings than now. With Bojangles Summer Sandwich lineup, you can choose a flavorful Cajun fried chicken filet sandwich, or a tender Cajun grilled chicken filet sandwich, or a crispy Cajun filet club sandwich, or a tasty Bo's chicken sandwich. Make it a sandwich combo and add your choice of a side. Maybe Bojangles seasoned fries, dirty rice, or Cajun pintos. And to complete the perfect meal, Bojangles legendary iced tea. There's a Bojangles sandwich combo for everyone in the family. Summer just doesn't get any better than that. What are you waiting for? You know you're hungry, and you know you want flavor and value. So, it's Bojangles Sandwich Combo time.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. This is a portion of the portion of the show where I get to pretend I'm a game show host. Today on the line we have Don in Raleigh and Micah in Morrisville. And on the line as far as the prize goes, we have a pair of tickets to see the Help From My Friends Tour, Summer 2024, with Switchfoot, Blue October, and Matt Nathanson coming to Red Hat Amphitheater on July 25th. We'll start with Don. For our question to see who goes first. Don, what was the highlight of your weekend this past weekend with the only requirement that it's sports-related? What was your sports-related highlight of the weekend?
It was a pretty weak sports weekend, to be honest with you. I guess the highlight would be the Carolina boy going number 22 in the draft to the Orioles. I've been sitting on pins and needles waiting to see what happens with Jarvis, Natchez, and Drury, though. That's been the highlight, is waiting for my Canes update.
Very solid answer. Vance Honeycutt being the UNC player, and then you kind of nailed the biggest stories in Canes offseason. Let's go to Micah in Morrisville. Micah, same question to you. What was the highlight of this past weekend for you, with the caveat being it has to be sports-related?
I flew up to Boston this past weekend and got to see the Red Sox play the Royals in Fenway. That was my first Fenway experience. Got to go on the Green Monster, which is pretty sick, and up the bar up there. So that was my highlight.
That is very sick, actually. It's one of the coolest places in sports, I would say.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I think we got to go local, though, right?
I guess, yeah. You generally lean towards local. That's pretty freaking awesome. I've not been to Fenway yet. That's on my bucket
Especially
list.
those Blue Monster seats up there. Green Monster? I don't know where Blue Monster came from. The Green Monster seats up there they look like a blast.
I would love to sit and watch a game up there.
For sure. And there's a bar up there. Didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we do tend to lean local, and Don hit 2 local. He hit UNC and he hit the Canes. So we'll start with Don, but don't worry, Micah, you'll have your chance to win the tickets and to win the game. So just sit on the line. We'll go to Don and Raleigh. Don, are you there?
I'm here, buddy.
All right, here are the categories. NFL, we balled in Illinois. These are all players that played their college ball somewhere in the state of Illinois. NFL, spilling the T, all players whose last name starts with the letter T. NBA, current players only, or NHL, Canes and Whalers only?
Canes and Whalers, baby.
All right. The way this works, I will give you the team and the player. Even though in this category we know the team, I will still say it just to keep it fair time-wise with the other 3 categories. So, yeah, we'll give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. You have 1 pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope, good to go.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Dmitry Orlov, Carolina Hurricanes.
17.
Incorrect. Jack Drury, Carolina Hurricanes.
18.
Correct. Calvin DeHaan, Carolina Hurricanes.
44.
Correct. Adam Burt, Hartford Whalers.
Pass.
Ian White, Carolina Hurricanes.
16.
Incorrect. Dmitry Orlov, Carolina Hurricanes.
7.
Correct. Adam Burt, Hartford Whalers.
24.
Ended up getting 3. That's a solid number. Dmitry Orlov, you went 17 first. 7, that's a common mistake. You got Orlov with 7. You got Drury with 18. You got DeHaan with 44. Adam Burt with the Whalers wore number 6. And Adam White with the Canes is another number 7. So both he and Orlov wore number 7. But you did
Not bad for a Monday.
Not bad for a Monday. It's a good start. That's 3. It's a solid number. You'll be the leader in the clubhouse. Sit on the line. We'll see if it holds up. Now we go to Micah in Morrisville. Mike, are you there?
Yeah, I'm in trouble, but let's go.
You're in trouble because the Canes were your pick, or you're in trouble because 3 is a lot to you?
Canes were my pick. 100%.
Okay. All right. So good defense by the caller who went first. Categories are NFL, we balled in Illinois, NFL, spilling the T, or NBA, current players only.
NFL T.
All right. These are all players with T starting their last name. I will give you the player and the team. Give me the jersey number. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. You have 1 pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Is their last name?
T is their last name, but I'll give you the full name.
All right.
All right. And you need 4 for the win. If you're ready to roll, your time will start when you hear the horn.
I'm good.
Justin Tucker, Baltimore Ravens.
7.
Incorrect. LaDainian Tomlinson, San Diego Chargers.
21.
Correct. Lawrence Taylor, New York Giants.
59.
Incorrect. Justin Tucker, Baltimore Ravens.
9.
Correct. Michael Thomas, New Orleans Saints.
13.
Correct. Shaq Thompson, Carolina Panthers.
54.
Correct. Lawrence Taylor, New York Giants.
56.
What just happened? Was that a sandbag? Did you just completely give us the okie doke?
No, you gave me easy teas. Well, Justin Tucker is literally the GOAT kicker in Madden. I always draft him, and I knew he was down there. Lawrence Taylor, my dad's a huge Giants fan. I don't really remember the other questions. Jack Thompson, he's just the Panthers GOAT. It could have been number 7, but I said 54. I don't know.
We would have accepted both 54 and 7 for those of you playing at home for Shaq Thompson. He's worn them both.
Yeah.
What an all-time misdirect.
Micah played us.
I'm going to do bad. I was going to go with the Canes. Oh, here's a perfect score. How's that taste?
With 4 seconds to spare.
Congratulations, Micah. You are the winner. You get the tickets to see the Help My Friends tour this summer, 2024, with Switchfoot, Blue October, and Matt Nathanson. They're coming to Red Hat Amphitheater on July 25th, and you'll be there. And you can let everybody know you won the tickets by sandbagging.
Not true, but thank you guys for having me.
All right. Congrats. Sit on the line. There's some info Dennis needs to get from you to make sure.
And that was a solid 3 by Don, by the way.
Oh,
like,
no,
Don did solid with 3.
This was a great start to a Monday. 8 total is a great number.
Great day.
So both sides doing their part. And I will say, like, I respect the Canes fans that run in that category. I will say there's probably a little bit lower average on the Canes. It's just, you got to get some deep cuts there, and Don did, but obviously stumbled a little bit there on a whaler. But 5 for 5 to start a Monday. Let's go. That's what I have to say. Let's go. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I want to tell you about my friends over at Capital Financial Advisory Group. And, of course, that means Coach Pete. Coach Pete, I mean, he can break it down for you in a bunch of different ways, but let's just call a spade a spade. When it comes to planning for your retirement, you want to grow your money as much as you can so you can have the maximum income, and you want to protect your money so you don't have to worry about that income being taken away from you. That's what Capital Financial does. Right? He is committed. Coach Pete is committed to helping you retire like a champion, getting you through the financial red zone, over the goal line, and into that financial end zone, that retirement end zone. 22 steps. They perform 22 steps that go along with the process of identifying your unique financial composition and helps identify the best way for you to navigate your journey along the way to and through retirement. Capital Financial developed a total and customized retirement plan so you can secure and maintain both confidence and control of your finances. That's what it's all about, right? Confidence that it's going to grow and security in knowing it's not going to go anywhere. If you're interested, give them a call, 800-691-3215. If you let them know you heard about it here from me on 99.9 The Fan, just say Tim sent me. Then you'll get his best-selling book, one of his best-selling books, for free in addition to the retirement plan. If you're more of a texter than a caller, that's fine. You can text my name, Tim, T-I-M, to 600-700 for the same deal. Once again, the number to call, 800-691-3215. Tell him you heard about it from Tim, or just text Tim to 600-700. It's Capital Financial Advisory Group and our guy, Coach Pete. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, ESPN is ranking the top 100 athletes of this century. Who from North Carolina, who with North Carolina ties, better darn sure be on that list. Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
On a day after skis. Did I do it right, Smalls? I'm trying to do it. No, I'm trying to do it right. You got to do it.
It wasn't that bad.
Thank you.
It wasn't that bad.
Skis. Come on, Smalls.
You didn't have to do it twice, though. Okay. You did it once. I let you get away with it. I said it was okay. You tried to do it twice. Moderation, Evan.
Skis.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Check out the Chevy Summer Drive event at Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Score up to 12% off the MSRP on a brand new 2024 Silverado 1500 with a Wilkinson discount, plus a trade-in bonus on eligible vehicles 2010 or newer. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford, one of the only dealerships with the best of Chevy, Cadillac, Buick, and GMC under one roof. Visit us in person today or online at wilkinsoncars.com.
OAR.
Summer Tour 24. With special guests, Fitz and the Tantrums. And DJ Logic. July 16th at Red Hat Amphitheater, Raleigh. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss OAR Live, presented by Live Nation.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
The new Bluebell Cookies and Cream Cheesecake is cheesecake ice cream with chocolate cookie-crusted cheesecake pieces and chocolate cream-filled cookies. Again, cheesecake ice cream with chocolate cookie-crusted cheesecake pieces and chocolate cream-filled cookies. Buy two.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream, available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
You're not going to want to miss this. Diamonds Direct summer sale starts this weekend. For 3 days only, this Friday through Sunday, get 20% off rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, and more. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. And designers are flying in from New York and LA to showcase their latest trends. That's 20% off, plus $100 off with an appointment and designer trunk shows. Tons of engagement rings on sale, too. 20% off starts Friday. Details at diamondsdirect.com. 3 days only and Sunday.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. All right, everything for the exterior of your home. Do you have a favorite?
I have a favorite, yeah.
I want to hear
it. So windows, doors are my favorite products. The reason why is because we are the best at installing them. You know, there's 1,000 different types of windows on the market, doors on the market, different people installing them, different companies. I don't care how good a window you get. If it's not installed properly, it's not going to do you a bit of good. I always tell people, if you buy a submarine window, the best one in the world, and you have me put it on a submarine, you don't want to get in that submarine.
I don't want to get in the submarine either way.
I hear you. So anyway, so that's the thing I say. So it's really important that you have things installed properly. We've been around since 1961. We've got a 4.9 out of 5-star Google review ratings, over 800 reviews. Give us a call. We'll come out and give you a free no obligation estimate.
It's the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. You can find them online at aluminumcompany.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Don't miss limited time doorbusters during Pro Savings Days, right now at Lowe's. Starting July 15th for 3 days only, you can save $60 when you buy a DeWalt 12-volt multi-head drill driver. Was $189, now $129. Plus, get 50% off a DeWalt Tough Grip 110-piece screwdriver bit set. Shop these deals and more while supplies last. Because Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. Valid 7/15 through 7/17. Selection varies by location.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Everybody loves a good list. It's a big list time of year. ESPN, I don't know if they promoted this, but this morning, turn on my computer, go to ESPN. They've got a top 100 athletes of the century list coming out.
Yeah.
Feels like this is a very should have happened in 2025 thing, but they're doing it now.
I guess we're almost there.
It's close enough. And, of course, they're not going to reveal it all at once. They're doing it in sections. So they put out numbers 76 to 100.
Okay, so the bottom quarter.
And they still have the top 75 to go. Of people with North Carolina ties, the only one I recognized in 76 to 100 was Chris Paul.
Yes.
He was number 83. Very impressive resume. I thought what we would do, though, rather than just saying, hey, Chris Paul is awesome, I would ask this question. Who with Carolina ties better be on the list, right? Because we still have 75 to come, and they're going to be revealed later this week. Who better be on the list? I have 3 names. And then I have 2, we could see them, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't.
Okay.
Where should we start? Which one?
Just pick one.
All right, we'll start with better be on the list. These 3 names, if they're not on the list, it's a bad list. Steph Curry.
Oh, yeah. That's lock.
How high does he go? Top 20?
I think he'll probably be in somewhere in the 30 to 50 range.
Okay. Because
I think this is all sports.
Yeah, the crazy part is you start throwing in the Phelps and the Bolts and the
Rafael Nadal's,
the Shaquille O'Neals, because their three-peat happened in the early 2000s. The Kobe's, the Jeters, there's a lot.
You factor in combat sports, Canelo Alvarez, John
Mayweather.
Jones. Yeah, Mayweather. Habib Nurmagomedov. Like, there's a bunch. I mean, George St. Pierre was in that 76 to 100.
And that's not even bringing in like Brady, Manning, like that whole
Jeter.
crew.
Yeah, just Kobe. There's
LeBron.
So much.
So Steph will be on the list.
Yeah,
I'd say he should be in the top half of the list. If he's not 50 or better, I'm going to say this is a bad list. Tim Duncan, Wake Forest's very own Tim Duncan. He's probably top 50 if Steph is, right?
Yeah.
You look at the MVPs, the championships, all that sort of stuff, although some of his did come in the 90s.
Some of the early stuff in his career.
I think he has a championship in the 90s. So he still had 4 and 3 MVPs. And,
yeah.
And then Cam Newton. I think Cam has to be up there.
Because you factor in what he did in college as well, his year at
what
Auburn.
He did in college, an MVP, 70-something rushing touchdowns. I think it's hard to keep an NFL MVP off the list. Unless it's like does Matt Ryan make it?
No.
I think it's hard to keep an NFL MVP off the list.
Yeah.
I probably would have put Matt Ryan somewhere in 76 to 100.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers was 90-something, right?
Cam might have to get bumped to maybe.
Yeah, he might get.
I don't know if Cam's above Rodgers.
I mean,
and
Aaron
Rodgers was already on the list.
4 NFL MVPs, and he's in the 90s or 80s.
Yeah, I think I'm bumping Cam to maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because we're factoring in all sports here.
But he does. I mean, I was going to say he does have the Heisman. He does have that run at Auburn. But Rodgers has 4 MVPs in the NFL.
And has won a Super Bowl too.
And he was below Chris Paul, right?
He was below Chris Paul.
Yeah, I think I have to bump Cam to a maybe.
I was thinking. Well, we'll get to the maybes here a little bit on it.
Tim Duncan, Steph Curry are the only 2 guarantees I have.
Yeah.
Yowzers.
I was thinking maybe Julius Peppers just because of what he did.
Peppers is a maybe for me.
Because what he did, not only college basketball, college football, but the NFL and the longevity that he had.
If they're taking arguments, if they're taking context where you're like,
Sure.
no, hear me out, then I think there's an argument for Julius Peppers. But if you're just comparing stats, I think he probably misses.
Probably.
But if you're like, but he's a Hall of Famer in the NFL and he played in a Final Four, you have to hear arguments, and I don't know how they decided this. I think Vince Carter is a maybe.
Yeah.
Similar path to where you have to talk. You have to go I get it. He's he never won MVP. He was never the best player at his position, but it's an impact thing, right? Like the dunk contests and the in-game dunks and how cool he made it and how important he was to the NBA in the post-Jordan era. And you have to really get into the impact of it all. And that's all I got. Was there someone else you were going to bring up for maybes?
No, I think the Peppers was the only one I could really think of.
Peppers, Vince Carter. I mean, is there a Duke basketball player?
I mean, who's the best Duke basketball player? I mean, Jason Tatum. I don't think he's been around long enough.
Kyrie?
I don't know.
Is there a UNC basketball player? No,
not really.
Did Rasheed Wallace, Jerry Stackhouse, Antoine Jameson do enough in the 2000s?
No.
There's are we missing a Heather O'Reilly?
U.S. women's national team?
Yeah, played at UNC.
Soccer? Possibly.
She's got a World Cup and she's got Olympics. She's underrated, though. I think that's going to hurt her.
Especially because the U.S. women's national team has been surrounded by so many stars.
If a U.S. national team, it's going to be Alex Morgan or it's going to be Abby Wambach.
Carly Lloyd.
They might all be on there.
Hope Solo.
I'm other sports. I'm trying to think. Is there a swimmer? Ledecky's going to make it. Phelps is going to make it. They're both Marylanders. Caleb Dressel, he's a Florida guy, right? We got to get more.
Unless there's a baseball player like Bumgarner.
Yeah,
but I don't think he did enough either.
I don't think he makes it.
Because Pedro Martinez did a lot of his work in the 90s, but he still had really good years in the 2000s as well. He was ranked in the 90s.
I mean, you got to go Kershaw, Verlander. You got to go there's just better, more accomplished pitchers who you can't have 7 pitchers on the list. You know
Probably
what I mean?
not. It is a fascinating, it is a fascinating list to put together when you're comparing people relative to their sport. It's all right, your accomplishments relative to your sport.
Because the argument is always you can't compare across eras. That's what people say. You can't compare Jokic to Larry Bird or Jokic to Barkley because you can't compare across eras. I'm like, all right, fine. Same era, different sport. How do you feel about that? Who's better, Kobe or Jeter? Who's better, Brady or LeBron? Before you go, Brady's got 7 rings. Go, well, he doesn't play defense. Who's better, Usain Bolt or Michael Phelps?
And see, we always talk about championships and things along those lines. And again, think about relative to your sport. Like George St. Pierre, I'll bring this up because he was on the list. I think around like 81 or so where he was. He had 13 title defenses or wins. Like 13 times he either won a championship or defended the title, like directly one-on-one. 13 times.
Tiger Woods had 14 majors.
Yeah,
in the 2000s, 15 total.
So like, how do you compare those? Like, if you're majors only come 4 times a year. It's like, well, you might only be fighting 3 times a year, and you still won 13 titles or title defenses.
If you want to argue against Tiger, I can fight you and say he was beating 150 people each time he won a major.
That's the thing. It's like
one.
So yeah, but that's it's all relative to your sport.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating, and I'm a little disappointed because I thought there'd be more Carolina. When we set out to do this, I was like, all right, let's count how many from North Carolina. I finished with like. Hopefully 3, and 2 of them pretty much just went to high or college here and moved on. The Drive with Tim Donnelly and Wake Forest is going to have 2. No Duke, no North Carolina. Wake Forest is going to have 2. The Drive with no State and goodness. Does Phillip Rivers make it? Yeah, does Phillip Rivers make it? I don't think so. No MVPs. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Need to quickly tell you about my partners over at Window Nation. I was actually I was at my parents' over the weekend, and my son had those little poppets, those old things. You throw them and pow. Well, you give a 3-year-old those, some windows are going to get hit. And I just kept thinking, how important is it to have quality windows if you're going to have a toddler? Window Nation, I'm not saying you should ever throw like fireworks or anything at your windows, but they do always use the best materials. They use the best installation. They use the most efficient stuff from sealant to glass to vinyl. They make sure it's all top of the line so it can be enduring for everyday life. Give them a call right now. They have a special going on. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free. Plus, pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years and the peace of mind knowing that it can put up with the daily grind of having a family and living in a house. The number to call is 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION. Or you can visit windownation.com. Schedule a free, no-obligation consultation right now. They'll come out to your house and do all the demonstrations. 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com to schedule. Overdrive is coming up next. Some news breaking earlier today in Canes Nation. You'll hear our conversation on that coming up in just a few minutes. Enjoy Overdrive. We'll see you tomorrow.
The Adam Gold Show.
While I'm watching